Hello everyone, BroSilly here. This is a very long video. It's, I think, nearly 3 hours at this point. More of a podcast type video where me, Ulairi, and even LostGalaxyGamer at some point all join up in a call and review the ships that I went over in another video, but this time we all have each other's input to go off of. So yeah, if you're watching this video, I'd recommend getting a snack because it is one heck of a long, I guess, podcast episode. And if you would love to see more episodes like this, comment below, because I do want to make more of these videos. But alright, well, that's about it. Enjoy the podcast.
With what ship shall we start on?
Let's see. I have mine pulled up, but I can switch to any that you want to start with.
Yeah, I got mine, I got Ultimate Admiral running, so I can go either way.
Let's see, I'm gonna mouse through. Okay. Let's start with the British ship, since there's two in 1930.
Oh, yeah. Masterman and Compromise.
Indeed. Let's see.
Let's start with Masterman?
Yes, I think that is probably what we should do.
Get one of the worst out of the way straight away, eh?
Indeed.
What was up with that design, man? Honestly.
I think, honestly, I liked how it looks. The back turret, efficient-wise, it's not very efficient, but I don't know, it kind of looks cool, but obviously that aft-weight offset is just not that great.
Let's just start with the aft-weight offset. I mean,
yeah.
For a moment I was like, did I accidentally change something while looking at this ship? Because I couldn't believe it.
I know.
22.4%.
It's...
Well, just a bit of moving around with the turrets and you would have fixed it.
I actually did. I think I tested it out. If you get rid of the back turret, your aft-weight offset just disappears.
Yeah, that exactly. Wow. I mean, that was just horrible, that aft-weight offset.
I know, it's almost as bad as AI offsets. Not quite there yet. I feel like the AI is always in the yellow, but it's still really bad.
Did anyone ask him if he designed the ship himself?
I believe I did. I think I remember watching the video of him making it. I think he was more worried about the amount of guns he had on his ship.
Oh, God.
I mean, to be fair, it was going to be AI controlled, and the AI doesn't really know how to use Nelson-like ships.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But still, even so, it had some weird choices, man. I mean, not considering the aft-weight offset. Barbat 1?
Barbat 1? I mean, flash fire chance is not horrible. 5.7 is...
Yeah,
it's not zero.
I don't know. It's more about the flash fire, the spreading chance that worries me with this design, with the Barbat 1.
I suppose so.
If it happens, they all go up. And combine that with an anti-flood 1, yeah, it had me really confused.
Yeah, no, it had me confused too. What also had me confused was Stereoscopic 5. Not really sure what was happening with that. I assume he was going for a little bit of a longer range ship, but oh yeah, I guess increased shell rounds would also increase that flash fire explosion and spreading chance. But then Turtleback is... I don't know. I feel like All or Nothing is personally better when it comes to longer range ships or ships that try to shoot at range.
Yes, it was really like he didn't really know what he was going for.
Yeah. I think he was kind of designing the ship for like a battleship v battleship, because like anti-torpedo 1, like in a campaign, that's not going to fly.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. It definitely is a PvP dual ship only, not a campaign ship.
Indeed. It's not a bad turning circle, but it's not a big or small enough turning circle that can justify anti-torpedo 1?
380 meters? No.
Yeah.
And consider that also with a sonar 1, not that great either. I mean,
yeah.
I could understand it if he went sonar 3, for example.
Yeah.
Then I would be, yeah, that would work, but...
Then maybe.
It's, yeah.
Not to mention, he went with stereoscopic and then chose 2 powder, which gets rid of gun range. Which is like, I know it reduces flash fire chance a lot, but if you're going to do a long range ship, just increase the barrels, take cordite, and hopefully you won't even get hit because you'll be so far away. But
yeah, I can see what you mean there, but if I look at it, indeed, with cordite, the flash fire chance is going up to 41%.
It definitely jumps up a bit. Let's see. Oh, did you chose to... Oh, you went to Cordite 2. I went to Cordite 3, because I'm not a huge fan of Cordite 2, but Cordite 3 it's got a little bit of less flash fire chance.
It's a little bit better, yeah.
Especially with going barb at 5, it would be... I mean, 12% is not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah, with barb at 5, indeed, that would have worked. Not with barb at 1.
Yeah, and all or nothing reduces it even more. And I think increased shells probably... Yeah, if you take it down to standard shells, that even decreases it to 8.9% I'm at now. Which is...
Yeah, but you get a bit of a weight issue then. A cost issue, if we do that.
That's true. Well, then there's also the training, because they had it at 35 training, and if I remember correctly, we specified the training does not count toward the price.
Does not count, yeah, indeed.
So,
also weird. We had, I think, 2 people having weird numbers there.
I think we had quite a few. At least 3 contestants made training a part of their of the price pool, which I thought we specified, but I guess it was not specified enough.
I suppose some people were confused. I thought it was very obvious, but yeah, guess not.
I guess not.
The main tower, secondary tower, the dual funnels. What do you think of that?
I'm okay with 2 funnels personally, just because redundancy can be nice. If one funnel goes down, it's nice to have a second funnel.
I suppose, but you could go down. You could go down to a single funnel.
That's true. Going down to a single
11
funnel
would give you to 97.9% engine efficiency, and that could save you quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, it probably could.
And then you could, get more armor on the top side of your turrets, for example. Because that's only 6-inch, that's like paper.
Yeah, 6-inch is not great. Actually, armor, just in general, is not amazing for 1930s battleship. Like, battle cruiser, I could see it, but 6 inches main deck for a battleship?
Oh, that's way too low, man.
Yeah, especially with stereoscopic. Again, it's like, is this going to be a long-range ship or a close-range ship?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You would say the main belt is good for a brawler. But, and the aft belt and the fore belt is good as well. The main deck is just not up to it for a long-range duel. It needs to be, what, 8-9 inch at least?
I would say at least make it half the main belt, but yeah, I would like to usually keep it above that. So yeah, 8 or 9 is probably pretty good, even 10.
Yeah. Yeah, all in all, I personally have a bit of an issue with dual funnels, especially in a challenge like this, but I can see the reasoning. Overall, I think there are quite a few flaws here.
There are,
I think
definitely.
We can agree on that.
I think in a campaign, the ship is still going to be better than an AI ship as long as the player controls it, because the player can control it really good, and it's still fine. It's better than a lot of AI designs where they'll just tack on secondary guns that interrupt gun arcs all over the place. This at least has like a competent amount of guns and secondaries. I mean, the secondaries are a little bit lackluster for a battleship, but it's okay.
It's lackluster, but it can get the job done, I suppose.
Yes.
However, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about before maybe moving on, and that is the bulkheads.
Yes, many bulkheads. Now, I do know a lot of people love maximum bulkheads. I'm actually one of them that doesn't necessarily mind dropping some bulkheads to fit more stuff on, but I know some people love maximum bulkheads.
I'm more one of those latter persons, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I would
You love the maximum
prefer
bulkheads?
maximum bulkheads with standard bulkheads rather than the reinforced bulkheads and lowering them. I think that is a horrible decision.
Yeah. And my concern...
I feel like ships sink way too quickly if you don't go with a maximum bulkheads.
That's true. That is very true.
And I really hate to reinforce bulkheads. I think they're utterly useless.
Yeah.
The floatability is okay, fine. But besides that, yeah, no.
I mean, the flash fire chance going down is nice. It's kind of like an extra anti-barbette.
Yeah, I'm more of a barbette person in that
Yeah.
regard, and usually with barbettes you can get the job done.
Yeah, usually you can get the job done if you don't have Barbette 1.
Yeah, yeah, good point.
Yeah,
But yeah, the flash fire spreading chance, it's like, you know, it looks great, minus 20%, but usually if one of your turrets goes up, it's game over already.
especially if you have
Because you
like
lose all your ammo.
yeah, all center line, all same gun. Yeah, one gun goes up, you're
Yeah.
most likely out of ammo.
So I'm like, this is literally, yeah, the plus 20 fire extinguishing is nice, I suppose, but overall I think this is the most useless tech in the entire game.
I think definitely back in the day, before I used balance mod, when like HE spam was a thing that the AA would do, bulkheads was nice because the fire extinguishing was a really nice bonus. Now that HE spam is less of a problem, it's more of a, I guess flooding usually takes a ship, actually even surrendering usually happens more than fire, extensive fire, at least in the case of my ships, so I just might be building them wrong. But yeah, they're not as useful as they used to be. I still like to put them on just because having a ship go down to extensive fire is always, it's unexpected and really disappointing.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And just to make clear for our viewers here, I am not using the balance mod. So yeah, I every now and then get a situation where I get in a hot situation. Let's put it like that.
Yes.
I don't want to give out spoilers.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you know these are the statistics of the ship. If you want to look at the aesthetics, what would you score this ship?
I think aesthetics, I like it a lot. Especially like looking at the front. Oh boy. Looking at the front, it's very... I guess it looks kind of like a Nelson. It's a little wide, but I suppose that's to fit the many secondaries on the side, because if you make the ship... Let me try and make the ship... Oh, hold on, my game's bugging out. Oh, I got... Oh no.
If you make it... Now, if you lower the beam, you can lower it a bit, actually, quite a bit.
Yes, you can. I think the only problem I had with that is then the secondaries are kind of sticking off the edge of the ship, as are the towers.
As are the towers, yeah. I really hate it when that happens.
Yeah. So I'm okay.
I like never, but I guess a beam of...
Like
a beam of 0 actually just fits. But...
then the secondaries
a
are
beam
kind
of 0.7, 0.9, I think is the most perfect fit in that regard.
I would, yeah, one or two. Actually, I would probably go with 2 personally, because it's like perfectly snug, at least on the side. That one 4 or 6-inch gun on the very front is just barely on the edge of the ship, which it looks okay.
Yeah, I can see where you're going. And what kind of grade would you add to it?
I think probably for aesthetics, I'm gonna have to go with an A. I know the back turret's really inefficient, but it looks nice. Like the ship looks nice. It's
Okay.
way
Yeah.
better than an AI ship, and I like that all the turrets are, well, at least the front ones are 360s.
True. That makes up some, but I don't know, man. I can't go higher than a C tier on this one, personally.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Why, you may ask? It's mostly to do, believe it or not, with the turrets themselves.
Yeah.
I find the British turrets to be ugly. Oh my god, I just can't stand them.
Is that so?
Yeah, just take off the forward turret and replace it with a, I don't know, a 14-incher. Triple-barreled 14-incher.
Okay. I have a 14-incher?
I think that turret looks so much better. With the multiple colors, with the ladders on the sides. Not as much as a, British turrets, higher tier, they're just boxes. It's just a little box, while the 14-incher at least has some style to it. And I really don't like the big ass turrets in that regard.
Yeah, I can see that. I suppose. I think the only reason I like the British guns is because I didn't really play the British a lot when I first started playing the game, so like these turrets were always new to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the British were the first campaign I ever recorded for this game, so yeah.
Really?
I have a love-hate relation with it.
Huh.
Right, shall we move on to the next ship then?
I suppose we shall. That would
HMS Compromise.
compromise, and immediately I'm getting barbette issues. I don't know if this is just because I'm on an earlier version. I haven't updated in like a month. But the barbettes that they have on the ship don't work for me for some reason. Let me go fix that really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Oh, that doesn't fit either. Okay, let's start with, I guess, just cost efficiency. What are we thinking?
Oh god. I fought this ship. And frankly, the recording that I made on YouTube, my first attempt was like the meme. After that, I was like, let's do a serious attempt. And this ship kicks my ass.
Yeah.
It's, for what it's, for its cost, I mean, without the crew training, 199.9 million with 13.5-inch guns, it packs quite a punch, I think.
It's definitely okay. Hold on, give me a second. Something with Discord is screwing with my game every time I try and get rid of the HUD, or I think that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens, and I can no longer place down anything, and I don't know what's happening. It's something to do with these. Something to do with these little. Where is it? I think the soundboard. Yeah, I don't know how to get rid of this. Okay, reset this. There we go. That should fix it. Yeah, that fixed it. Perfect.
All right. So yeah, I think cost efficiency, it's a good ship. I would take it into battle.
All right, I think my 2 cents on this thing is I like it. It's got the good amount of guns. It's got the right amount of guns. What the problem for me is it does not have the speed. For a 1930s battlecruiser, 33 knots. I don't know. It's that's slow. I mean, in a campaign, that's too slow. You're not catching anything. The AI loves building ships that are way faster than they should be. And I mean, the armor it's okay. I know a lot of battlecruisers will use speed as armor usually, but then this ship's got a lot of armor. But at that point, why didn't you just build a battleship? Like 33 knots with that much armor, like just build a battleship. That's kind of my thing. It's like
I agree. You hit exactly the right spot, I think. 33 knots for as a battlecruiser hull can do 37.5 as optimal speed.
Yes.
This is very slow indeed. And the sad thing is, you get a 140% engine efficiency. easy enough, I think, to make her a bit faster. Just take a bit away of the range, and you're there already. Well, almost. 70,000 kilometers, 37 knots, and you only have 8 million to scrap away somewhere, and you're there.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense to me, this ship.
It's not a battle cruiser, I think.
It's kind of like a mix, I think, in a way.
Yeah. It's rather than a. I wouldn't call it a battle cruiser. I would call it a. I would classify this as a battleship, really, as a good battleship.
And then my problem was, all right, great, you've got a battleship speed, battleship armor, but your guns are not battleship tier guns. I mean, technically they're capital ship guns, but I mean, 1930s 13.5s are okay, but they're not as effective as, like, say, literally any other gun.
You would expect at this day and age to have the 16-inch guns.
Yeah.
This is low caliber. Yeah,
I think it's because of the Mark IV. I do know sometimes that going with the Mark IV over Mark III can prove like a 13.5 could be as good as a 16, but still.
It definitely was a risk, although, of course, with the cost attached to it, I don't think there was any chance of getting really higher with this.
What was so expensive about this ship? It was the bulkheads. They went maximum bulkheads with the reinforced bulkheads. The modern tower super expensive. The mid-belt armor. Oh, is the armor, right. That's why it's so expensive.
The armor. The armor is so... It goes on for, like, ages. This ship is so long.
I know, and just the amount of armor. And they went turtleback. They didn't even go all or... Like, if they went all or nothing and made the extended, like, less, like, they could have saved at least a little bit of money.
That, and... I don't know, I would have maybe got rid of the displacement as well. Make her a bit shorter, overall.
Yeah, it's very true. This is a really long ship.
You can move some things around. I tried it earlier off screen. It is possible, though you gotta, change some of the towers, I believe, the rear tower. But I don't know. It's I like the ship, but it's not a standard battle cruiser, and we shouldn't look at it as such, I think.
Yeah, the fact that it's built on a battlecruiser hull as anything but a battlecruiser is what really irked me. Like, it's not a bad ship. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a really good ship. Just, it does not do what it's, like, supposed to do. Like, this should either be... this should probably just be a battleship. Just overall. Yeah. Like, maybe a little bit of a cheaper battleship. I mean, it's...
Yeah, if you go, like, a campaign that is going badly, and you need some pocket battleships, essentially, to fill the gaps in your fleet, or then you would go for something like this.
Maybe you started the campaign super early on, and the AI is still using Dreadnought era stuff, and you can get away with 13.5-inch guns still.
Yeah.
I mean, either way. And then, let's see, it's also built to be a brawler, which... I mean, because we got Coincidence, we have the... Well, I guess caliber is extended a little bit, which it's not extended by that much. But I'm seeing Coincidence, Turtleback, a lot of Barbette, an okay amount of torpedo protection. I don't know if 3 is still adequate, especially for a battle cruiser.
3 is at the limit, I think, the lower limit of what you should do.
I wouldn't go lower than 3. And then 2-powder 2, sonar 3. They at least built it with like the whole brawler. I call it a brawler. Just a ship that runs in, gets in real close, and fights dirty.
Close. Yeah. And for that, it would work if it had the speed.
Yeah. And then...
But it doesn't.
What's the turning circle on this thing? 480,
Well, it's a very long ship, so the turning circle is going to be horrendous, even with an unbalanced rudder. But, only electrical one steering. Personally, and I know this is one of my personal gripes, the 3 funnels, you can take one off and go with a tall funnel 6 instead. Saving weight, saving target signature, and get electrical steering upgraded.
Very true.
It does not help a lot, but it helps a bit.
Not to mention Shaft 1.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would upgrade that as well. Because if you can't turn, that's fine. Then make sure you can accelerate and decelerate quickly. That's also a good way to dodge torpedoes, after all.
Yeah. And with only an anti-torp 3, I mean, I suppose Sonar 3, 480 is still a lot. Even for Sonar 3, it's such a long ship that the likelihood of you turning out of the way is very unlikely.
It is very unlikely, but we gotta consider that this is a brawler, like you say, so
yeah,
it needs to be able to dodge for a brawler. For a long-range ship, it wouldn't matter.
That's true.
But it does.
I suppose there's like 2 ways to deal with torpedoes in my mind. Either go really heavy on torpedo protection and hull bottom, or go really heavy into turning and sonar. Because either way, you're either dodging them or you're gonna take torpedoes and you're gonna shrug them off. And this one doesn't really do either that well. I mean, sonar's nice. When I see sonar, I think, oh, so you have a good turning circle, so you can turn out of the way and take advantage of the sonar. And then you have a 480 turning circle. So I'm like, oh, so you're going to have some torpedo protection at least, and they have an anti-torpedo 3, so it's a little interesting. I would say that would normally be okay for probably a longer range ship, but it's just, it doesn't exactly check either of those boxes for me.
I would not want this ship in my front lines. Let's put it like that. I would want to see this ship in my second or third line when engaging an enemy, but definitely not at the front. She's just not built for that.
Indeed, and yeah, that's why I don't get that whole coincidence 2-powder thing. Like in that case, maybe a cordite stereoscopic would have been the way to go, because I mean they have. Yeah, if you go cordite, you get almost 40 kilometers of range with AP. Like even with the 13.5-inch gun, like that is an okay ship. Even if you turned it into a battleship, that's still okay.
Oh yeah, I mean most fights are within 40 kilometers in campaigns at least.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the best, you got best Gen 2 radar. And I'm assuming these are some of the best towers, because most players like to go with the best towers. Yep, I got the best towers. So your spotting is going to be pretty good. So it could have been a really good long-range ship. Just changing those 2 things right there. Go to cordite 3 and stereoscopic, and boom, you got a nice long-range ship. But
yep,
2-powder coincidence.
A missed opportunity.
Indeed.
That's sad. If we look at the looks of the ship, I like her.
I do like it. I believe the one thing I said that I was not a huge fan of was that the back turrets are super spread out and the front turrets are super close in. So it's kind of weird. I think it was...
Yeah.
If you drag out the front turrets a little bit, your forward offset will increase. Or for aesthetics alone, it becomes much better.
Yeah, I agree. However, besides that, I really like the, especially the secondary turrets.
Yes, I do like the secondary turrets.
Complement. We see multiple diameters. Especially, I'm in love with the 2-inch guns in the middle, that center at the third funnel. Those 3, I just love them.
They are nice. They are nice. Can you fit any more on? Not really. There's only one little slot in one tower.
Well, there could be one more in the main tower, indeed.
Yeah, but...
Lower bit of the main tower, but...
It's okay.
Yeah.
I think looks... I forgot if I gave this an A or a B. I think I'll still give it an A, because it looks really good. I'm not a huge fan of how close in the front turrets are, but I think it's still a really good looking ship.
Yeah, I agree. This is a good-looking ship. Definitely A or B, in my opinion. I think A. Low A.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the turrets, man, the turrets. You know,
Yeah. Those turrets.
the rest of the ship compensates the looks of the turrets.
That's true. And the fact that the back secondary tower
Yeah.
is like almost perfectly flush with the little outcropping of the, I guess, the upper deck. I'm entirely sure what that little bit's called.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That looks pretty good.
It does look really nice.
All right.
Okay, what do we have next? Not France, Germany. Let's look at the Tirpitz. Haha.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, just no. This is, a faux pas. You can't do this. It's not
I
the
know
worst ship I've seen. I'll be honest, but
well, let's see. I've seen a few ships, and I'm gonna be real with you. This actually might be the worst ship I've ever seen. I'm trying to remember a worse ship I've ever seen.
we'll get to it later. Trust me.
Oh, I just remembered. It's in my British Blue Ship campaign. I've made horrible looking ships, so actually this is not the worst I've seen, but it's still really bad.
I think, German ships have, you know what? No, let's keep the same way of doing that we did before. Overall, the statistics of the ship. Let's start with that before we continue raging on the 17-inch guns.
Yeah. This is another person who thought that the crew training was a part of the money, or the budget at least.
Well, he min-maxed it perfectly with that in mind, but come on, man, that was just silly. And he has, if you take that away, you have so much room. Although not displacement, that is a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But since he had the money, he could have increased the displacement of his ship, and that would have solved the 17-inch gun issue as well. To some extent, at least.
To some extent, yeah. I think, yeah, really big guns for, I guess it's 1940, so 17-inch gun is still okay. Pretty long caliber, range is really good, so I'm expecting this, because of how long the caliber is, to be a really long range ship. Let's see, stereoscopic, okay, that's good. 2 powdered light shell, alright, so not exactly the qualities I would give a long range ship, maybe a little bit more historical, but we're not really going for historical right now. Probably triple base super heavy is what I would do for long range. Oh wow, that flash fire chance goes way up. Probably because you have Barbette 2. Yikes.
Again, we're seeing someone, yeah.
And the Barbette 2 is not even the worst thing. What's the worst thing for me is the 0 torpedo protection.
Yeah, let's see, what's the turning rate? God.
Oh boy. It exists. There's certainly a number there.
He'll turn before he gets to the moon, but let's leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen worse, but not many times.
Yeah, a ship with that turning circle needs anti-torp. Maybe a shaft as well?
Yeah, they have no shafts, no auxiliary engine, a balanced rudder, no steering.
Just go with an unbalanced rudder, saves 200 meters on this ship.
That's true. Even that saves. I mean, you would go over budget if you were at 82 training, but that wasn't a part of the.
That wasn't part of the deal, so I'm taking that away. I mean, yeah, ouch. Let's see, beside that, modern 2 armor, reinforced bulkheads, advanced armored citadel. Yeah, okay. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, there is a citadel. It exists.
It exists, so that's good. And the citadel armor, yeah, well, it exists. The rest of the armor is very heavy, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, armor's pretty okay.
a 10-inch main deck, 7 fore and aft, 15 main belt. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, especially for a cheaper ship, just because of how, like, it's really inexpensive. Like, under $500 million battleship in 1940 with this many 17-inch guns, it's not a bad amount of armor. Not necessarily the amount I would go for. I'm more a fan of the 1612 is what I usually go for. It's just, I like it. But it's still good. Superstructure, I'm more of a fan of having better superstructure, because getting that main tower knocked out is always just, usually it's the beginning of the end, because you can't hit anything after that.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually that so many admirals are having the superstructure very low.
I know. I think it was something to do with. I remember Brother Monroe came up with like a battleship guide, and he put like 1.5 inch. Like he was going over how you usually did Citadel 5, and he would put 1.5 inch on all the extended bits and the superstructure. And I think that kind of carried over to a lot of. I mean, even I took it. Like I did that for a while, and then I just did too many battles where I would lose my main tower, the funnel would get blown off, or just something would happen. I was like, I need more armor.
Yeah, same. I prefer, 2-inch at the very, very least. I never go under that these days.
I mean, yeah, for a battleship, I don't think I've ever gone under 2.5 inches recently. Just get that.
But it is expensive, though, getting that up.
It definitely is expensive.
And especially the weight is an issue, of course, then, with this ship. Though,
that's true.
Take off one funnel and the problem is solved.
That's true. Way too much engine efficiency. I like your speed, but the engine efficiency is just too much.
I mean, if you want to go with a dual funnel, fine, but get some smaller ones in then. Because these are just the heaviest funnels you can buy.
Yeah, I mean, that's my suggestion. If you're going to go redundant funnels, just get the cheapest ones. At the very least, it's, you're saving some space.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is a possible missed opportunity. And yeah, that brings us to this main superstructure, I think. German superstructures. What do you think of those?
So, when done properly, they can look beautiful. I know they take up a ton of space, but personally, I mean, I still am kind of a fan of them if you can get them right. And the advanced tower with funnel, that's not how you do that. I would have probably gone with modern secondary tower 3. It would have made it look real pretty, real synced up. You would have had the pretty much symmetrical little secondary gun turret slots across the ship. It would have looked good. This is not that.
I mean, I could not agree more. This advanced tower with funnel 3 is very nice, but not with this main tower, not with this hull. You need a different hull where you have a different main tower that goes with it. This is just,
Indeed.
You're combining two completely different kinds of towers here. It just does not work. Not to mention the upper 3.9-inch guns on the secondary tower, all the way up on the tower, that just looks ugly.
Yeah,
it's way too big.
They're huge. Like the little 2-incher slots, and they put 3.9s, practically 4-inch guns.
Yeah, it really does not work. Even if you make normal 3-inch guns, they are too big.
I know, yeah, it's gotta be like a 2-inch gun, because like those feel pretty good.
Let me check that out. Gotta say though, that German guns, especially the German secondaries, but also their main guns, they look very cool in my opinion.
I do like the German secondaries a lot. They are some of my favorite, especially the 5-inch guns. I've always been a huge fan of those 5-inch guns.
I like the 8-inchers myself as well.
Interesting.
I think they're very cool.
Okay, I always like just the smoothness of the 5-inch gun.
Yeah, I think they work really good on cruisers. If you get some German light cruisers with the 5-inchers, yeah.
That's for sure.
That looks really cool.
They're not better than the French. The French have just got the best cruiser guns possible, but it's a pretty good second.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, talking about guns, let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we?
Yeah, well, first off, quads. I think I even said this in my video, I just don't like quads unless it's potentially on a French ship, because then it kind of makes sense and they have really cool looking quads. But otherwise, I just hate how quads look.
I think quads can look okay, but then you gotta go biggest ship possible. Get the biggest beam, biggest draught, biggest displacement. Then it looks okay, I think.
Yeah, because let me get a 17-inch triple.
Yeah, I'll replace the top one as well.
Because it's got that multiple color thing you said you liked. It's got that it's much less blocky.
Yep.
It's got multiple dimensions. And I don't know, something about the barrels looks prettier.
Yeah, the barrels, they don't have the end of the barrel is a bit different, especially. I think that's the issue. It gets a bit wider on the quadruple one.
Yeah. I'm not really sure why they do that. I suppose it doesn't look horrible, but I mean, I just kind of like the triples and lower better. I think my favorites though are because I don't know, something with the 17-inch gun, it just makes it super stubby looking. I don't really know why, but if you switch the 17 triple to a 16 triple, it just looks so much better. The barrels just look longer, and it actually fits the barbettes, which is really funny. It just really looks like it should be there.
Just in general, I think the German 13, 14, 15, well, up to 16-inch guns, especially the dual ones, those are definitely my favorites for the Germans.
Yes, of course.
They look so good.
The dual guns are just absolutely beautiful. They belong on a German ship, that's for sure. And
Go ahead.
I mean, I know they definitely don't want to put them on a battleship, but the 12s and lower, I mean, I love those are like some of my favorite main guns possible, even though they're so small caliber. I just love how they look. They got like the little eagle on the side. I think it's an eagle, I could be totally wrong.
It is the German eagle there, yeah. On the 11s, right? I believe?
12s and 11s, and then 9s and 10s, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if I can get it. Of course, then I delete the main tower. Whoops.
Oh boy.
There we go. Yeah, for my viewers, we're talking about that eagle next to the ladder there. I don't know. I like the, every now and then I try... I generally don't record that, a semi-historical German campaign, where I got some, Scharnhorsts with 11 stuff. It looks really good, and it can work. It is a kind of different gameplay, though.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely going historical is very different gameplay.
That said, though, I think this... because that might be a discussion for another time. If we look at this ship, and this ship would have had triples, 16, 15-inch guns, it would have scored pretty high, I think, for me.
Honestly, if not for the secondary tower, that might have gotten... Well, even the secondaries aren't that great. That probably would have gotten a B from me, even with the whole superstructure mishap. Just because of at least how good it would have looked from the front.
But right now, as she's looking now, I don't know, D tier?
Yeah, I think I scored D tier. I've made worse ships, but that was on purpose, like just as a meme ship. But yeah, this is looks not good. Now, cost efficiency, under 500 million, you have 12 17-inch barrels, and they fire in about a minute. That's not bad. Up to a range of 45 kilometers. Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, if we look at how efficient this ship was built, I love it.
I mean, it's missing a lot of like things, but you don't really need those things if you play the ship properly.
Yeah.
Plus
Well,
21...
the missing of the auxiliary engine is something that scares me, though.
It does, but then again, a 21-month build time. That is, for a 1940 battleship with this many really big guns,
That is impressive.
That's not bad. I mean, range is always something I look at, especially since we were kind of building these to be campaign ships. Germany, it doesn't matter as much. I think some of the other British ships that we looked at had really bad range as well, and that actually drops the score sometimes for me. Germany, it's not horrible having minimum range. I just always try to keep it at least 20, like 25 kilometers.
Even in a campaign as Germany, you got to remember on the campaign map, Germany generally do not have a lot of colonies, no matter what time period you start in. So you don't need maximum range either.
That's true. I always try to go at least standard, but yeah.
Well, I believe you would like to go up to at least 21,000 kilometers, right? Roughly 20,000?
Some are usually above 20,000 is what I try to aim for.
I remember that. So that doesn't bother me as much for the German ships, because it makes sense to me. Overall, though, yeah, I think we are in agreement.
Yeah, D tier aesthetics, but then cost efficiency. I have to give it an A tier just because of even the range can be ignored because it's Germany.
With a minor modification, I would take this to battle in my campaigns.
I think this would be kind of fun to use in a battle in a campaign, just because, I mean, especially ships that I don't build myself. Sometimes I'll let the AI build a ship for me, and I'll be like, so it sacrificed these things, which in this case I guess would be turning and torpedo protection, just to have this many guns, which is something as a player I would never do, but it's very interesting to see and to play as.
Yeah, you know, this is the kind of ship I would be like, okay, I'm gonna build one of them for shits and giggles during the campaign, as a sort of fleet command ship, but that's it, really.
Yeah.
I wouldn't build a lot.
I guess it depends, because I mean, in 21-month build time, you could just produce so many of these if you really wanted to.
Yeah, that is true. It's
pretty
then
cheap
again,
too.
If you need a lot of ships, will you go, and you need them quickly, will you build battleships?
I guess it depends. If you're going for, what is it called? The power projection. 12 17-inch guns is a lot of power projection, especially for blockading and stuff.
Yeah, that is true.
So if you if for the sole purpose of trying to blockade, say, Britain, this could be a really good ship to just pump out. I know it'd be really hard to blockade Britain, but yeah, this could be... I mean, even if in battle they might not be as effective, just on the map, the amount of power projection these ships will have is a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I did not consider the power projection. I admit that is a very, very good point. And even in a battle, I mean, it has 146.5% long-range accuracy, plus 44% base accuracy. It will get the job done.
Yeah, it will shoot ships, and it has enough secondaries that it will probably shoot any destroyers that come and try and mess with it.
Oh yeah. A destroyer is fucked if they get close, that's for sure.
Yeah, indeed. And then the 8-inch gun, should hold off any cruisers. I think they have a little bit... They don't have as many cruiser secondary guns as I would like, because if you have this many really big guns, I would usually try to slap on a couple 8s or 7s just to deal with cruisers, but it's okay.
Especially with this secondary tower, it has the space beside it to put down another 8-incher rather than a 4.9er.
That's true.
I would have done that myself, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even just 6 per side would have been probably good enough. Still an A, that just would have been probably made it more of an A+ for cost efficiency.
Yeah, I agree. For now, though, keep it at an A, and D tier for general looks.
Yeah, for aesthetics. So sorry, LostGalaxyGamer.
Well, don't you worry, mate. That is not the only ship I'm gonna give a D.
Oh boy. I think
because
it's
I think the United States are next.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the U.S. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Stealth's lovely ship. The lovely.
I know. Yeah, go ahead.
So I actually might have to re-download this because I forgot I did my own little edit and I saved it, and so it's currently saved as the improved design that I did, where it only has a 26.1% flash fire chance, which is still bad, but not as bad as 42%.
42.5.
Yeah. Still, single barrel. Yikes.
Let's start off with normal statistics first.
Yes, of course,
before we get to the barrels, because I'm gonna rage at them.
Okay. Yes, let's start with that first. Let's see.
The ship is doing 27 knots to begin with.
And it can do 34. It's such a waste. This is one of the few modern battleships that can do 34 instead of 32 as an optimal speed. I just see 27 as a waste.
This is a big waste. Big-ass waste on this ship. It should be way higher.
I think 30 is the minimum for 1940s battleships. I would say 30 is the minimum, because the AI is going to design some crazy fast battleships.
My battleships generally are between 30 and 33 knots.
Yeah, that's
never lower.
That's about where you should keep them. At least for 1940s.
I think, in terms of engine efficiency, it wouldn't have been a problem to go to 33.
Yeah.
The weight, of course, is a different matter, but... So that to begin with. If I look at the rest of the ship, propulsion-wise, it's pretty good. Shaft, balanced rudder, electric steering, a turning circle of 530 meters. Not great. Then again, it is a fairly fat ship, and that makes sense that she can't turn. However, anti-torp 2.
Yeah. That's... I mean, I think we discussed 3 is the minimum.
Yeah. No need to spend a lot of time on that anymore. The rest of this, all or nothing armor scheme.
Yeah, all or nothing, and then going the way... It's like more of a turtleback armor scheme the way he went.
Just look... All or nothing armor scheme, and then look at the armor.
I know, the 1688, it's like... Well, hold on, like at least make it like 1644. Like, this is almost the exact... I think this is the same armor scheme. Hold on, this is the edited one, so I don't know if that's actually the armor scheme.
Yeah, you edited a bit, but not a lot. It's 15.5 and a 7.7, so...
Oh, 7.7? Yikes.
Yep.
That's
with a 9.5 main deck.
I think 9.5 is not enough for this ship just because of it's supposed to be a long-range ship. It will only ever be taking deck pens if it's played as it's supposed to be played. 9.5, I don't see that as enough. I think at least 10, probably 11 or 12, just because deck pen does fall off at a certain point. Like, there is a point where you have a lot of penetration with deck pens, but then it starts falling off the further you get.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an interesting mechanic that I can't ever really remember how to use properly.
That, I keep forgetting it, man. It is on the low side, I think, for 1940. But, 15.5 main belt. I'm not too thrilled about that either for 1940, to be honest.
I would say just because this is definitely supposed to be a long-range ship, I'm okay with it. It's definitely not supposed to be a brawler. I mean, if this thing brawled, it would die immediately.
Yeah, fair.
Which it did.
And that brings me to the turret armor.
Oh, yes.
10.7 on the barbettes.
Yes, I adjusted it. I actually somehow managed to fit 20 on the barbette. I think I said I at least try to match the side and barbette to the turret size. That is like my general rule of thumb. It just... I don't think I've had any flash fires, maybe once in a campaign a couple, maybe like a month or two ago, but I don't think I've ever had any other flash fire since then. Like even with like 12 to like 16% flash fires, especially my British campaign where I have really high flash fire chances, I just don't get flash fires because I have barbette armor.
That's the thing. I mean, you can go with a high flash fire chance as long as you armor up properly.
Yeah, I mean...
He did it.
Yeah, it was not armored up.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This is very hard for me to say because Stealth is a bit of a hero of mine, I admit. I love his videos. He is actually the one that essentially got me to do this because it was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's try that as well. But yeah, I think this is a flaw on his design.
Yeah, I think also, I don't know if he was exactly building this to be super efficient or super pretty. I think he was just building this as more of just a cool little ship to show off to his audience to play against other ships. Because I remember he didn't exactly know what was happening with the challenge, which I don't blame him, it was a little bit confusing. But, I mean, it's a very interesting design for sure. It definitely caught the eyes of a lot of people.
True.
But yeah, campaign ship. I think his campaign version was better, but I can't remember if it was the same kind of general thing.
It was the same generally, I think. And that brings me, to the campaign side of things. It lacks acoustics. It lacks a radio. It lacks secondaries. It lacks a lot.
I don't think it quite deserves an F tier, but just because that as a long-range ship, it gets the job done, and I've experienced that with my poor ship multiple times. It absolutely destroys at a range.
If it hits, and if it doesn't get hit herself, then it destroys. Yes. For sure. However, if it doesn't hit, we're talking about a reload time of 132.1 seconds.
Oh, right. Okay, on balance mod, especially since he had veterans, this ship is a minute reload.
Okay, hold on. I took to let's set the veterans. With a veteran crew, for me, it is 91.9 seconds.
91 isn't that great, but when I was using balance mod, his ship kept hitting my ship over and over and over again. Like, it was, on balance mod, this ship is really good. Not like vanilla though, not good.
Yeah, that is a big thing for the viewers. I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't know the balance mod. The balance mod, if I understand it correctly, boosts the accuracy, especially of the big guns. Correct?
From what I remember, it boosts the accuracy of main guns. I think it boosts damage of guns. It boosts a lot of things. It also reduces overpens and partial pens. But even with that, like statistic amount, like even with partial pens reduced, like this thing would still do like 4 digits of damage in partial pens. I mean, that's
a lot of damage.
It's impressive. I think my ship almost died to structural damage if the ship hadn't flash fired.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
With a bounce mod, this is a really surprisingly good ship. Like, I mean, I'd never want to use this in a campaign myself. Well, maybe I'll build something like this in like the British campaign, just as a little meme ship. But yeah, as an actual campaign ship where like I'm just building really cost-effective battleships, no, this is not it.
Never ever. A battleship without secondaries is just a no-go for me.
Especially one that can't get away. Yeah, 27 knots. If you were like 34 knots, like the battleship is supposed to go, I would understand, because that's going to be faster than at least the optimal speed of most battleships.
Yeah, you would have issues with destroyers and light cruisers maybe, but beside that, nothing, indeed. So that is a big no for me, and I just hate the single-barreled looks, man. It looks so dumb, in my opinion.
I don't like it. I think it's a very interesting look on the US ship. It's not as bad as other ships because I know like British single barrels are just. I mean, especially with the superstructure, like these 20-inch single barrels, they're almost. I mean, they almost kind of look like they belong here. The 20-inch guns on the superstructure. I have changed it a little bit though because I adjusted the ship a little bit. So to me, they're a little bit more tight in the guns. I don't think it deserves an F tier for looks, but probably a D tier just because it's interesting. You know, I'll give it a C tier. I'm more intrigued by how it looks. It's less it looks good and more just it intrigues me by the look. It catches my eye.
I wouldn't give it an F tier because that would be too bad. I agree.
No, there are other designs that look way worse. I mean, despite this having
I don't think. You know, it's the same as the Tirpitz with her quadruple guns.
Yeah.
The quadruple guns look ugly as hell, and I think the same applies here with the single ones. So I'm not going higher than D tier.
Yeah, that worked. I think I gave this a D tier as well. I'm just gonna change my answer a little bit though, because again, it looks interesting. It doesn't look good necessarily. It just looks interesting.
You know, this is a design that you want to make one video with. You want to try 1 or 2 times in a custom battle, and that's it.
Funnily enough, Stealth has this in his campaign, so I'm very interested to see how he uses it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure that's indeed with the balance mod, with the extra accuracy.
Yeah, and the better reload time especially. Yeah, it will.
Well.
I mean, it has been play tested. It works as long as it doesn't get hit, which it should not be facing against ships with 15, 14-inch barrels usually.
Yeah. I saw Stealth's video about it and his remake as well.
Yeah.
I know what it can do. And what can happen to it.
It's a very glass cannon in that if it gets the hit first and like a couple good hits, like it's game over for any ship really. But then if it gets hits itself, then it's game over for the Hitman.
You got the right term there, I think, for this ship. This is a glass cannon.
Very glass cannon.
This ship needs to hit, and it needs to hit hard. However, the thing is, you get an opening salvo with one turret, right? Always.
Yes. So one single shell.
One single shell, yeah. What I generally try to do these days on a lot of my ships is get a smaller gun with more or less the same range. Of course, with a 20-incher that's nearly impossible, to get that first shot off. Then all the other guns, the big guns, their first shots will be immediately aimed.
Indeed. I think that's kind of what I did with my ship, is I had a lot of smaller caliber guns, but it had like really good range. Like as soon as, I think Stealth was really surprised because like he started the battle and immediately the ship fired. He's like, uh-oh, the ship has range.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. And then obviously the first time didn't go too well for him.
Shall we move on to the next ship then?
I think we shall. Let's see, what else do we have? Nothing was on the Soviets. Oh, the Italians.
Italians. 1930, right? Yeah.
This is Monroe's ship, which was surprising because I could have sworn it would have been one of the British ships because he loves British ships.
The HMS prefix on the battle cruiser, on the one battle cruiser, was added just to confuse people. Because, Monroe likes to do that.
Yeah, he does.
And I fell for it, and I was really annoyed. That's sad, though.
Yeah, I think the only reason I guessed Monroe was the battlecruiser was because I've seen him sacrifice speed for armor before, because I know he loves a lot of armor.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of things fit almost perfectly with Brother Monroe with that battlecruiser. That was really annoying.
I know.
Really made a fool of myself in that one.
I think we all did.
I spent like 15 minutes explaining why I thought that ship was Brother Monroe's, and then I got it wrong.
I'm very similar to you in that regards. Yeah, it's like the only one I was confident about besides stealths.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't stealth. I recorded before he got his ship ready, so yeah, I cheated a bit there.
Whoops. And I guess I technically also cheated because I watched his video right before I fought his ship. I was like, oh, this looks familiar.
Yeah, but that's not your fault, is it? That is his fault for having that ship, a video about that ship out and about.
Yeah, but I also thought it's like there could be a trick because I was wondering, did someone purposely design a ship based off of his video? Because I knew it could not have been the same one because you can't take a ship from a campaign and put it into a shared design thing. You would have to remake it. So I was like, someone could have done it to fake me out, and I could have fallen for it. But I was like, I'll just go with stealth.
Yeah, it would have worked, I think, for me if they pulled that trick. Anyway.
Yes.
The Italian ship.
I mean, 35 knots automatically, really good. That's really good.
Optimal speed is 32 knots, so she's faster than her optimal speed.
She's got a reduced beam and draft, but it looks good.
It looks really good.
It looks really good, yeah.
I really like the ship, although one of the main features why I like it as much, the turrets, the way the turrets are angled is very good in my opinion. But more importantly, the funnel and the dual barbettes for the small guns that he puts on the side of the main tower.
I do like how it looks. It does look real nice. Personally, the little dual funnel, maybe more so for efficiency than actual looks, but it blocks the one secondary gun right next to the funnel. It can't shoot straight ahead, which seems like a little bit of a waste, but otherwise it's okay.
Yeah, I know what you. I see what you mean there. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
Cost efficiency. I think range again. Another 12,000 kilometer range. I think so many of these ships had minimum or ranges around 12,000 kilometers. I don't know why, but most of these ships do. I just remember that being like a very similar number in range. Italy, it's not horrible. You don't have that many provinces, and you're probably just going to be fighting in the Mediterranean. So it's not horrible. It's just not great.
I don't know. Let's if I look at it in detail, I don't know. The propulsion systems are all good, I think.
Yeah, that's all pretty good. Armor's all maxed out.
12,000 kilometers, more than enough for an Italian battleship, I think.
I mean, 1930s, I suppose, yeah, it's more than enough.
Let's see, we got an all-or-nothing armor scheme. Yeah, definitely.
You know, the funny thing is, I looked at this and I said, oh, this looks just like the Brother Monroe video. Now, who do I know that watches Brother Monroe? Because I already thought I had guessed Brother Monroe because I was so confident in that battlecruiser. If I had not seen the battlecruiser first, I legitimately would have guessed this is Brother Monroe because of the 1.5 scheme that especially the superstructure. Like, this is based off the exact same video that I was talking about, that like the superstructure being 1.5.
Yeah, the thing is, indeed, had I seen this ship, and I'm actually cursing myself for it because, you know, that guessing element of the of last week. Why didn't I just open up all ships and look at all of them? Why didn't I do that? I keep wondering.
And I did, and I still got it wrong.
I definitely wouldn't have said Brother Monroe then. So at least I would have had a different chance. I'm annoyed. Anyway, 1.5 forebelt, 1.5 aft belt. I'm sorry. It's not my thing.
Yes, it's definitely... I don't like the 1.5. I think it's okay, like splinter armor. 1930s, it's alright. What I like to do is I like to take half of half. So, you know, like Turtleback, it's like 16.8.8. like you'll take half the main belt. I half the half, so it would be like 16.44 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit more loose about it, but I generally try not to get below 5 inch, especially not on my belts. I feel like, 1.5 inch, why not go for 0 then? Because everything is gonna pan it, let's face it.
I think...
Why not just go with a 0?
The only thing that doesn't pen it, because it's 1.5, let's see, I'm going to do some math real quick. 1.5 times 2, that's 3 plus half, which is about 0.7. So like a little over 3.5 inches of armor effectively, which is not horrible, but then you have to account for the whole ricochet thing, so it's more like 4 or 5 effective. That does block some things. At close range, it doesn't really block anything.
At close range, it doesn't block anything. At long range, you're dealing with 14, 15, 16-inch shells. It doesn't block that either.
I think the only reason that a splinter armor is viable, which I do agree with this kind of, especially with the balance mod, overpens do like no damage. Like they'll cause floodings, but like they do like even with really big guns, I've seen overpens do like double digits in damage.
Yeah.
It's not really that bad. So even if you flood out, since you have all or nothing, you will not sink due to flooding if all of your extended is flooded, and then all of the damage you'll be taking on your extended will be very much reduced. You're much more vulnerable to smaller ships, but I mean,
you're not gonna get close to this ship with a smaller ship.
Yeah, with the amount of forge guns.
Yeah, those 4-inchers. They will rip you apart, even the 2-incher, because that has 7.5 kilometer maximum range, same as the 4-inchers. You're not gonna get close to it.
The more I look at the ship, the more I'm like, this is exactly what Brother Monroe would do. The whole splinter armor, and then the whole like even citadel armor, the 2 inches above on the side and barbette armor, then half that on the top armor. The exact caliber for the main guns being 45. And the coincidence range finding, despite it probably being more of a long-range ship. Like, this is all exactly what Brother Monroe does. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, this was so obvious that I just did not get it.
In retrospect, yeah. Although, what is up with the 45 on the guns? Why does he like that so much? Do you know?
I think it's just he goes by 5s, which I also go by 5s. It's either 40, 45, or 50 or 55. That's typically the calibers he goes in. Typically the calibers I go into.
I see. Oh, that's interesting to know.
Yeah, it's less effective, more just, I don't know, something
aesthetically
to do.
pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, the guns, the armor. Personally, I miss the radio. I like having the RDF myself, especially for the gun aiming speed bonus. But yeah, it is what it is. While I honestly don't get why you would put turret rotation on a battleship. I'm gonna put it out there. Why would you?
I think for this ship,
the flash fire. But even if you take it out, 0.3. And the thing is, I mean, a faster turning gun, I can understand that on a destroyer, on a light cruiser, ships that maneuver a lot. A battleship turns her guns to one side, and generally you keep for an hour or 2 hours of in-game time that ship more or less pointed in the same direction. Why bother with it?
No, I think I would normally agree. I typically don't care too much about the turret rotation with longer range ships, but this seems to be more of a closer range ship with the coincidence, the really high anti-torpedo, and then not to mention these are 45 caliber, so they're actually a little bit negative barrel length, and they don't even have 30 kilometers of range. So they could be switching targets, not to mention spacious quarters, maximum bulkheads. This is very much a brawler type of battleship.
True.
So they could be shooting at smaller ships. Because especially with the balance mod, you can hit smaller ships with big guns.
Yeah, that is true, of course. I keep forgetting that one, that little fact.
Yeah. I do know that because it's very fun to hit small ships with big guns.
Oh yes, big numbers coming up then.
Yeah. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of hitting destroyers with big guns because they just kind of sink immediately. Now, but like a heavy cruiser or a light cruiser, when they take just like 7 huge main gun hits in a row, it's so funny to watch.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. I agree. That all said and done. I think this is a well-designed ship. I think it's a good-looking ship.
Yeah, I think it got double A's from me last time, and it'll get double A's from me again.
Yeah, same here. This is my winner, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, definitely. Especially that I love that speed. I know Italians are definitely faster ships, but I just like it. It looks really good. It works really well. It's just a good ship.
Yeah, I agree. Well done, Brother Monroe. Good ship, man. Good ship.
Good ship.
Let's see. Then we get Japan, I think.
Let's see, Japan. Yes, then we get Japan. Do you want to do the heavy cruiser or the destroyer first?
Let's start with the destroyer.
All right.
I think that is more fun.
Let's do the destroyer. I've taken an interest, especially like I guess not pre-dreadnought, post-dreadnought. Post-dreadnought? Like just modern destroyers and designing them. It's always so interesting because they get so long that like you either put too many torpedoes, too many guns, like you can put so much on it. And then especially keeping it under that 50 million was a really big challenge because I did design a couple destroyers and I was having trouble. And I'm impressed with what the ship can fit for under 50 million.
Oh yeah, it's under 50 million. It is quite impressive. Let me take the crew off for a second. Yeah, 48 million to be exact. In terms of efficiency, this is well made, I think. It's a good ship.
39 knots is pretty good. I was wondering how they had 39 knots with like 10% beam increase, and I was like, oh, it's a Japanese destroyer, of course. Does 39.5 normally.
They can do miracles, man, with their ships. Maximum bulkheads. And that is about where my praise of the destroyer will end.
Yeah.
Because then I go to the components and I'm like, what did you do? You forgot a few things, in my opinion.
Just a couple things. I think I'm okay with the engine being that unupgraded, downgraded. It's
downgraded, just turbines is fine. I mean, it works.
Yeah, because he doesn't need displacement. He just needs less, money reduction. Oil one works.
And steam steering, no shaft. I mean, sure.
Yeah, you have a turning circle like bigger than most battleships.
Yeah, and that is just horrendous. Well, if we add electrohydric 2 and we go with an unbalanced rudder, we bring it at least down to 433 meters.
I know. And even like adding shaft, that's 342, adding at least an auxiliary 2, about 328. You bring it almost down to 300 turning circle though if you go maximum propulsion, but it does increase the price quite a bit.
Yeah. And the thing is, this ship has to get relatively close. It needs to get to within 15 kilometers to fire its torpedoes. You want it to be maneuverable or you're dead.
That's very true. Speaking of those torpedoes, let's talk about the size of the torpedoes.
What size? there is no torpedo size.
I know.
And in fact, I'm going to show you a I'm gonna show you my screen later. I made a refit of that destroyer. What I think would have been better in this regard, but yeah, 18-inch torpedoes. Why bother with them in 1940?
I think with that many torpedoes, you could probably sink a destroyer, possibly light cruiser, but otherwise, it's not gonna do anything.
Not even a light cruiser, man. They're gonna take like what, 200 damage, at least in vanilla. It's not gonna matter. These torpedoes.
And the funny thing is, he could have increased it to a 21-inch, and it's still under budget. Like literally, just changing it to 21-inch from 18, it still would have changed it.
If you go with reduced torpedoes, with a bit of moving around, you can even go higher.
That's true.
And knowing how often torpedoes blow up, I personally always go with reduced torpedo ammo. Just one shot, one kill.
Interesting. I usually go standard increased on destroyers just because that if a destroyer gets hit, it's usually just not going to survive anyways.
Oh, don't remind me. I just lost 8 destroyers in a campaign battle earlier today. I'm not looking forward to the responses of my viewers.
Oh no.
Disaster.
You know,
and talking about a disaster, no anti-flood system.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, usually it'll flood out anyways, but yeah, it at least helps.
You know, if there is one ship I say that needs anti-flooding, it's a destroyer.
Yeah, definitely. It destroyers, light cruisers. I mean, even reinforced bulkheads with watertight doors. I mean, the floatability can even help a little bit.
Exactly. In fact, I think, besides rangefinders, the anti-flood is like the most important technology you can get.
Very true. Auxiliary engines are pretty good because water pumping.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get, let's see. Actually, you get more water pumping from the auxiliary engine 5. So even
and
like ignoring that, going with auxiliary engine 5 would have been okay, but you don't even have that.
Yeah. So, of course, that is cost. The cost is a bit of an issue, but you could have gone with 18-inch torpedo and then get at least auxiliary 2 engines in.
At least. And then let's see, what else is there? I guess there's the fact that these are standard torpedoes. Personally, I would have made them probably either electrics or oxygens. I guess to each their own. I don't really like range because the ship will almost always turn out of the way by the time the torpedo gets there, so I like electrics.
Oh no, I'm going with oxygen whenever I can.
Yeah, you just want to throw the torpedoes out there?
Yeah, but the thing is, when I get close with my destroyers tend to die. So,
gotcha.
Long range, please.
I suppose I've
stuck with destroyers.
I've played quite a few destroyer rounds recently, I think in all of my campaigns. And I've been growing quite fond of them, like especially on destroyer combat. If there's just something about like the constantly turning out of the way of torpedoes and trying to gun down the enemy destroyers. It's really fun.
In a lot of ways, it's way more fun than those big battleship battles.
It's true, yeah.
Everyone loves seeing.
I think battleship battles are
it's
really
way more
fun.
Intense.
I mean, battleships are fun like 1890s, like 1920s, when torpedoes are still a problem. But yeah, once you get to a point where torpedoes aren't a problem and big guns can shoot like 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers, then it's more of like, eh.
Yeah. I like the destroyers up to 1930, I think. After that, I lose interest in them.
Interesting.
Mostly because of the radar tech, because ships get too accurate, and your destroyers just die in a single hit, like you said.
That's true. I am...
So yeah, I'm talking about getting hit and all of that. This is also a PvP ship, isn't it?
Yeah. I think this
has
definitely built for PvP.
Yeah, no mines, no depth charges.
Yeah, no utility.
The armor is 1.5 inch for the aft belt. I know where the problem of this ship is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, armor doesn't really matter. Because, I mean, the more armor you get, the more protected you are against some guns, but not others on destroyers. Because, like, if you have a lot of armor, you're protected against those 3-inch guns, but then, like, the 5-inch guns, or even, like, 6-inch guns of, like, light cruisers will pen you pretty easily. But then if you go lower armor, you'll get overpenned, but then you'll get penned by destroyers. It's like, it's not really a win-win situation here. It's like, you gotta choose if you're fighting destroyers or like cruisers straight on.
Yeah. Yeah, couldn't agree more, man. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so anything from 0.5 to 1.5, it's pretty much the same to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel ya.
As long as you don't have 0 on your superstructure. I mean, yeah, if that funnel gets that funnel can get destroyed by a 1.1-inch gun. That is not good.
No, that's horrible even.
Yeah, you need that funnel. You have only one funnel. You need that funnel. As a destroyer, that funnel is the most important thing on your entire ship.
Yep. The rest doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Right, the guns of the ship. We haven't talked about those yet.
Now here's what I will say. They look good on the ship, since this has like a really good beam, but they're way too big.
They're way too big, yeah, I agree. In fact, let me hope this actually works.
You gonna screen share the refit?
Let me check. Are you seeing it?
I'm loading in. Yes, I can see this.
I'm not quite sure if it works.
Let me turn this on really quick. Now the audience will be able to see the screen share.
Oh, always nice.
4.9-inch guns, okay. That's a lot more guns.
4.9s at a maximum, but rather 4.5s or something, looks so much better. This is what I did with the ship, just to see what I could make of her. And it also brings me to another point of that ship, the main tower position. I mean, you got a 4-weight offset, and that's obvious. If you have a main tower that goes, you know, it can't go much further to the front.
It's true. I suppose the forward offset isn't horrible, but I do see your points.
Well, it's not horrible, I agree, but that's also because of the aft belts and aft deck being high, right?
Oh yes, I suppose I didn't look at it that way. I think the main tower doesn't change it. I think actually, in my little refit, I think I just moved the funnel back a little bit and it worked pretty well.
Yeah, personally, I really like destroyers with the main tower further backwards. So you can have a torpedo in between the main tower and the forward deck.
Okay.
Essentially.
Normally, I would have to disagree, but with the Japanese cruiser or destroyer, I'm okay with it just because that it's such a tall tower compared to some.
Yeah, that is true, of course. Some towers are...
Yeah, some towers you'll put down on the lower deck and like it'll be completely obscured by like the upper deck. It's like does not look good at all.
It would be the most efficient command center, wouldn't it? Completely hidden.
That's true, but a little inefficient because they would not be able to see anything.
True. So yeah, what would you give the Japanese destroyer? In terms of looks, in terms of efficiency?
Let's see, I think efficiency... I can see the torpedoes being used as potential tools, in the fact that not necessarily you'll be using it to shoot anyone, but you'll be using it to like scare away enemies. Because 18-inch torpedoes is not going to really do anything, so you'll scare away any destroyers, so to say rushing a battleship. But otherwise, and then 5.9-inch guns, you can like maybe fight a light cruiser. with the amount of speed, you probably won't ever get hit by it. But I mean, besides that, it's really just not. I feel like it's trying to take on the role of like a light cruiser when it's supposed to be a destroyer. It should be more about utility and less about combative capabilities, even though that is important as well.
Yes and no. Of course, we're talking about the Japanese, aren't we? And Japanese destroyers, they're like the biggest destroyers in the world. They are like light cruisers, essentially.
That's true.
So that it takes over the role of a light cruiser is actually not bad, in my opinion.
Okay, interesting.
I do agree that the guns are too big. He should have kept them at least at 5, just a normal 5-inch max, but not a 6. 5.9s. I agree with your torpedo assessment. They're tools to use to scare off an enemy charge. Maybe get an enemy to broadside so you can hit them with your battleships, but besides that, meh.
Yeah.
Gunship, a usable tool.
It's
it
usable.
Won't win you a battle, though.
Yeah. I think it can do good. It can be good. It can do some fire or some HE damage because at least with the balance mod, this thing fires in 8.3 seconds, which is not horrible. It's not really quick for a destroyer. I would say destroyers you want around 5-second reload, but it's an okay with the amount of guns they have.
With a veteran crew here, the reload time is 6 seconds.
Oh, it's gone down to 5.8 for me.
So
it's
I agree with you. Yeah, it's not bad, but yeah, it's clearly a support ship.
Yes.
Until now, we have seen warships that would win you a fight. This will help the other ships achieve victory.
Yeah, I think in a destroyer v destroyer fight, I feel like this one would lose, just because the torpedoes would be ineffective. The torpedoes would be I mean they would fire 2 salvos of torpedoes, and that would be the torpedoes for the whole round. And the guns, they have the range, but they just fire so slowly, at least for a destroyer, because I used to put 5 inches or 5 inches on my destroyers all the time, and it's just not it. Like if you want to...
These days...
It's not it.
Yeah, generally I go for 4-inch on my destroyers these days.
I
did a campaign where I did 3-inchers, but that was a massacre. Oh. You just didn't have the range.
I've recently been experimenting with 3-inchers. They're okay for like, I guess like 1920s, 1910s, because that's back when like 4s and 5s are gonna take so long to reload they won't hit anything. But yeah, once you get to like 1940s, 4-inchers are probably good milligrams.
1940, you're doomed then. Yeah, I noticed.
It depends.
So I'm gonna say this is a B tier at max.
For effectiveness, I'll give it a B tier just because of that speed is really nice. Well, maybe C tier. Is that the only thing I'm going off of? I don't know if I want to give it a B tier just based off of one single thing. Has no utility. It has Gen 3. It's a good spotter. And it's under 50.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, just because it's under 50 million, I'll give it a B tier, because I know how hard it is to do anything with a destroyer under 50 million, especially to get 39 knots. It's just a really good spotter, if anything.
It is a good spotter. It is... Well, like I said, I'm not a fan of the main tower in the front of the ship, but overall I think it's a good-looking ship. So there as well, I'll go with a B tier to complement it, so double Bs.
I am going to go with... I think I'll go with an A. I actually kind of like that front tower. It's a little big. I probably would have like reduced maybe the main tower size a little bit, but I still kind of like it. Especially that back tower. I don't know, just something about the back tower, the little lip that points up, I like it a lot. So I will go with A tier for looks, because I don't know, destroyers can look really weird, especially with AI design stuff, but this is not a bad looking destroyer.
Alright.
That's you want to look at yours now?
I guess we're gonna do mine.
Alright, let me get your 2 cents in this thing before I tear into it.
Oh yeah, there was a lot wrong with the ship. I agree, actually. But the Mitsuhirato, yeah, 12,500 tons, 30 knots. For a 1930 ship, let me quickly pull the hull up. The hull can do up to 36 knots. She is a bit on the slow side, I think.
Yeah.
But that's the way I generally play. I admit, my ships, I don't like very fast ships. In fact, if you take this into battle, I believe the cruising speed would be like, I don't know, 20 knots or something, maybe even less, to get the optimal firing out of your guns. So half of the time I'm like, yeah, I can increase the speed, but why bother? In combat, we gotta slow down anyway, or we can't hit shit. So, yeah, 30 knots. It's on the low side, I agree. 16,000 kilometers range. It is kilometers, isn't it? I always get confused. Is it kilometers or nautical miles?
Let's see, it says... It doesn't really say.
It doesn't say, and I always use both of them. Then again, because, you know, at sea, nautical miles would make more sense, right?
I suppose so, but then...
I mean, if you're sailing with knots, then nautical miles...
I suppose...
But anyway.
Yeah. Could be either or.
It's... Yeah. In terms of propulsion, I think the ship is decently enough.
Okay.
Maybe not great, but decent. Protection. For a 1930 ship, well, I am happy with it. Crop 5, Barbette 4, Anti-Torp 3, double hull. Can't get much better than that, in my opinion.
Gotcha. You are underpriced, and it's not bad.
Then we get to the armament, and I fully admit that is maybe where some of the flaws are.
I can see a couple.
Yeah, I figured as much. Let's start with the torpedoes. 22-inch, 3 launchers inside the ship, and I love this hull, man.
I know.
With those torpedo positions, they are just so cool. And frankly, that is one of the main reasons why I went for this cruiser. It was either this cruiser or the modern light cruiser 2, I believe it was, that also has this setup. I think it's really cool looking. Anyway, torpedoes, 22-inch, electrical. Couldn't get oxygen, sadly enough, so electrical it is.
Okay.
Standard reloading. I would have loved to get more reloading in, I admit, but then I had to sacrifice something else, and I wasn't sure what to take.
Okay.
I fully admit that. Rangefinders, yeah, long range. Sonar 1, I got a phobia for torpedoes, man. I don't want to get close. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, torpedoes are bad.
I really, if you ask me to play this game, I will say sure. I'll start the game up in 1890, and I generally play up to 1930. The moment the AI gets long-range torpedoes, they just start spamming torpedoes, and I find it so boring. You spend the first 2 hours of the in-game engagement to just dodging torpedoes all the time, and it's, yeah, not my kind of game.
Interesting assessment. Usually I don't like playing super late. Sometimes I'll start campaigns in like 1930s because I just miss designing modern ships, and I don't have the patience to go through an entire campaign.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Yeah, so that is why I go with the long range rangefinder. I go for 2 powder, even though it decreases my gun range, it also decreases the flash fire chance.
Yeah.
And that is a bit of it was a bit of an issue on this ship. Flash fire chances, and I really did not want that. If I go with cordites, you know, it would go up to 7, 8, 9%, and I felt that might have been too much. I tried to keep it as low as possible.
Especially with that many 2-inch guns, yeah.
Yeah. I have a shit ton of secondaries because, you know, it had to look good. And in my opinion, a ship without secondaries does not look good. I went overboard with it, I fully admit.
Just a little bit.
Personally, if I could redo the ship right now, I would take away the dual barbette for medium guns, so get rid of the 6-inch gun, and I would get rid of 2 2-inch guns on either side of the ship, one next to the funnel and one next to the rowing boats of the crane tower. The rest I would actually keep. I think, you know, to me, a 2-inch gun, it feels a bit like a anti-aircraft gun. A ship needs anti-aircraft guns. Even though there are no aircraft in this game, there's gotta be guns for them. So I tend to put a lot of them on my ships if I can. It's just something I enjoy, but I can imagine people saying like, yeah, this is overkill. And indeed, if the enemy hits them and the ammo goes up, yeah, goodbye.
All right. Very interesting. Is that all you have to say about this?
Let's finish it off then.
Of course.
In terms of armor, let's go all around. I think she is well enough armored. Superstructure is on the low side for my liking, but yeah, the bloody money was getting in my way, so it is what it is. Turret armor, I went all out on that.
I can see that, yeah.
I wanted it as heavy as possible because I expected if someone picked this ship to fight me, I was expecting big guns. So, heavy armor.
Gotcha.
My main guns, 8.5 inch. Come on, is there a turret that looks better than this one?
I don't believe so. I do like the Japanese guns quite a lot. Yeah, the 9-inch guns they have are kind of stupid looking. But yes, the 8-inch guns are really nice.
The 8-inch guns, the 6-inch as well, I think, although a bit less. They look so cool. And I really like the triple gun and the dual guns on top of that. That part I'm really happy with, I'll be honest.
Okay. A little bit of mixed caliber.
Let's see, yeah, the mixed caliber, the 6-incher. That was more of a meme than something serious. Like I said, if I had to redo the ship, I would take that entire barbette with a 6-incher and the 2.9er. I would take that out. I'd keep that out, move the front tower a bit further forwards, balance it out again. I would not use that anymore.
Okay.
But, yeah. In terms of the rest of the ship, a 430-meter turning circle. Not great, but as I stay at long range, at relative long range, say medium to long, it should be efficient enough to dodge the torpedoes.
Yeah.
It has depth charges as well. This is a campaign ship in its basis, so, you know, I expect this ship to fight with, you know, generally when I fight a larger battle, I have my cruisers in a line, and between the enemy and my cruisers is often another line of warships, either destroyers or light cruisers, my picket line. And with that in mind, I think the turning circle is okay-ish, considering I only have sonar 1 on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. 15 months building time is not too shabby either for a cruiser, I think, in the 1930s.
It's not horrible.
Could be better, could be worse. Detectability is very low. Of course, we have radars, so who cares? And spotting range is very high, and I really like that. I like my ships to be a bit stealthy, I suppose.
Yeah.
Small ships, trying not to get seen to dictate the fights. So yeah, overall, I am not unhappy with the ship. I went overboard with the secondaries, I admit, but I'm not unhappy. Now, fire away, my friend. Fire away.
Alright, my turn. Okay, first thing I'm going to say, it's a Japanese ship. I personally feel like it's such a waste to not have a lot of speed. And I know you do like to play with less speed. For me, it's always that the AI will have they just always have way too much speed. So if you ever want to catch a ship, I mean, I guess even if you want to catch a battleship, usually you have to have more than 34 knots of speed in this time era. I guess it depends. It depends if they're using dreadnoughts or modern battleships, but yeah, it can get ridiculous. But
true.
Overall, I kind of understand your reasoning. If that's how you're using it, that's fine. What actually bothers me more is the range. You are playing Japan, you will fight Russia and China, maybe, but once you fight those nations, there's like no one else near you. So range is such a big thing for me, especially as playing Japan.
Range is a big thing, I agree. However, and this has more to do with my playstyle. If I don't use my playstyle, I agree. This is too low for Japan. However, I generally start my campaigns at 1890. And by the time I hit 1930, if I don't have 3/4 of Asia already under my control, so I can use those ports to resupply, then it's a failed campaign.
Okay, interesting. I suppose whenever I say campaign ship, I suppose I'm more just thinking of building a campaign or ship for the, loading up the campaign at that year.
Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying. But for example, I got a Chinese campaign. And right now, I control China, but I also have Australia, I have New Zealand. So I got those ports to use for my ships. So on one side, I agree, range is important, and 16 is on the low side. On the other hand, there's also the weight issue, really.
That's true. It does affect weight.
Even if I take away my extreme numbers of secondaries.
Yeah, it's not a lot of weight. Honestly, taking rid of all your secondaries is really not going to do anything at all.
Well, the 6-incher helps a bit, but getting the speed up and the range up, it's not doable with this cost.
Yeah.
At least, not that I can see quickly.
Okay. So
go on.
Yeah, okay. I understand the speed, and I understand the range from the playstyle. I understand it. It's good so far. Now here's what I'm going to say, and I do know you said that you do like to keep it on and ship sink pretty quickly, but to me, a heavy cruiser is not worth maximum bulkheads. I would say if you're going to have it closer to the battle, many. If you're going to have it farther from the battle, standard. But it's just, you save so much weight. You save so much weight, so much money, and I know everyone always goes maximum bulkheads, and it kind of reduces what you can put on a ship. I am always a fan of reducing bulkheads to put more on a ship. It's just, I don't know, I like it. So even going down to many is something I would do, like with a heavy cruiser. Because I mean, let's see, I'm going to skip I think most of these things. I'll go straight down to armor. Another thing.
Fire.
You have a lot of armor. Way more armor than I would ever put on a heavy cruiser. I think 10 inches is the most I'll ever put on a heavy cruiser, but usually I like to try for 8. Which is... It's an okay amount of armor, but again, heavy cruiser, it is still not exactly a capital ship. I guess it depends on how you build it. Like, especially like this one, where it only has 8.5-inch guns, I would not consider this to be a capital ship. I would reduce the armor and put more, or put something else on it, like maybe Sonar 3. I feel like Sonar 3 is something I always try to put on a heavy cruiser, just because it's more of a support ship, like a heavy support ship, but it's still a support ship. And something else I would always put on is fully automatic gun reload. Because looking at the reload of like these 8.5-inch guns, this is like the amount of reload that a, say, 14 or 15-inch gun will have with, at least in the balance mod, with like fully automatic reloading on a battleship. So the fact that you have guns like half the size of a battleship's main guns firing just as fast is not ideal.
What's the reload time exactly on the balance mod for the triples?
For balance mod for triples, it's about 37 seconds.
Yeah, 37.8 here. Yeah, okay.
Yes, it's not great. The doubles is 32.7. It's just, and like going to full auto, now we're dropping down to 28.6 and 25.3. Still not amazing, but it's okay for these long range or longer range turrets. That's okay. I mean, that's still respectable for how small the caliber. Like if they were like 11-inch guns, I would understand, but they're 8.5s.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't know. I must have had a brain fart here because, yeah, I forgot.
So I think, let's see, is there anything else? I think besides the armor, I'm okay with it being long range. I think it's a little weird to have stereoscopic even though you are going for long range, because I mean you only have around 20 kilometers, and last time I checked I thought long range only happens like after 20 kilometers, like everything within 20 is closer range considered.
Is it really?
Something like I've seen that somewhere, so that's why usually, just as a rule of thumb, anything that doesn't have a range over like 30 kilometers, I'll just go or coincidence, because I don't know. You're always going to be pretty close anyways. I don't know if it's determined on like the range of the gun, if it's determined by a certain amount of range just in general. I don't know. Just my general rule of thumb, because technically coincidence should be better because you should be firing pretty quickly, but you're not, so maybe stereoscopic's better in this case. Maybe. It also does. I
fully admit, I would have no clue when that change, stereoscopic or the other one. Sorry, I can't pronounce it to save my life. Where that change is, I fully admit. It's one of those things that I think this game could do a lot better in, providing data.
That's for sure. Oh, actually, something I have a little opinion about. The 6-inch gun, I like it there. I like the 6-inch gun, and I like the barbette you put. Because I know one problem I have with this hull is finding enough superstructure to keep between the two gun barbettes. And it always looks like there's a huge gap, and that makes it look like just one continuous superstructure, which I like.
That is true.
I like it a lot. I do like that.
It's, the other week, maybe you remember it, when I went on in Discord about the barbettes, like, wow, you can rotate them. Since then, I've tried it on, like, all my holes.
Yeah.
To see what I could do with it, because it can be so much fun, these barbettes.
You can, yeah.
They are my favorite barbettes, by the way, in the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely my favorite for a while. I mean, they're still pretty nice. I don't know, I guess I use more the standard ones again. I think my favorite...
standard ones, you use them all the times, but if I want to do something fun, I go with the dual ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's definitely...
End score. What do you think? You may go first this time.
I think I'm we're gonna start with Lex this time. I believe I actually gave this an A. Again, kind of along the same lines of Stealth Ship, where it's not necessarily that it looks super good, though it does. I mean, it still looks good. I just don't know if it's A tier worthy, but it's super interesting to look at. I think that's why I gave it an A. It's very interesting to see all the things you managed to put on this. Again, all under 100 million. And it does not look bad. I like the little reversed barbette you put there to put the 6-inch gun. Really creative. Just, yeah, based off of being interesting alone, I think it gets an A aesthetically. Now, cost effectiveness, I think not quite an A. because you've gone super turtle, like in the fact that you've gone slow speed, like maximum bulkheads, a lot of protection. Well, actually, you have Krupp 5, but oh wait, no, that is the best protection for this time period. And then like really heavy armor, in my opinion, like especially for a Japanese heavy cruiser, where they're more. Sometimes they're more akin to light cruisers, I think historically, where they're kind of lightly armored, but then they have a lot of speed.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I would have dropped down the armor a lot, probably like 8.4,
Yeah.
and then like maximum bulkheads to many or standard, and then just increase like a lot of the other things, like get the auxiliary 4, probably increase shafts, maybe a better barbette just to get that flash fire chance to 0. Maybe even reinforced bulkheads, up to you. Possibly better armored citadel. I don't know. Get that full auto gun reload. Get that better gun turning speed. I mean, this
definitely the reload. That was that was a big
the
failure.
reload, yeah. So I think for
I fully
that,
admit.
it's not a bad. I think the same thing I'm having is. It's teetering between a B and a C, because I think B, it has a lot of guns and it does good. It's just, I'll give it a B because it still works. It's like it's kind of like a weird pocket battleship in a way where, like, I feel like a pocket battleship would normally have less guns but bigger guns, but this one's got like still like pretty average heavy cruiser guns, but then like in terms of speed and armor, it's like very turtly like pocket battleship.
It is. And in fact, that is how I generally use my cruisers as well. Because generally I find, if you have a battle coming up and you're up against battleships with cruisers, that means you're fucked. So I tend to armor my cruisers up way too much in order to actually be able to fight against enemy battleships, because generally in my campaigns, I don't use a lot of capital ships.
Interesting.
In fact, I think in my Chinese campaign, I think I have like 35, 40 heavy cruisers and like 6 or 7 battleships at max. In my Italian campaign, even less battleships. I'm not a battleship player really. I'm using this as heavy cruisers essentially with light guns, because I generally do not expect to pen battleships. I expect to, somewhat burn them down eventually. I'm hoping to survive long enough. Always a bit of a guessing game there. Anyway, I agree with you in terms of the looks. I gave myself an A as well, because I think it's nicely balanced, with the triple guns in the front, 2 in the aft, with a crane tower, not something you see often, but I think it looks really cool, that
It
aft
does.
crane.
Do you like it?
The more I look at it, the less of a fan I am of the 6-inch gun, but I can understand people seeing it work. I think it's a bit too big. I think if I would take it off and replace it, even though it's maybe not ideal, with a 5-incher.
Yeah, the 5-inch gun is unfortunately really annoying in this case. There's one thing I've never been a big fan of.
The Japanese secondary guns, they work really well on battleships, I feel. The rounded turret design, but not on cruisers.
Yeah.
So, an A for looks. In terms of efficiency, I would give this ship a high C at max.
Okay. And I do get your whole. Actually, your kind of strategy for battle cruise or heavy cruisers is similar to mine in the line of heavy cruisers. Because I've had that. Like, I think I accidentally discovered that little tactic. But a line of heavy cruisers can take on almost any ship. Like, it's awesome. Because, like, they'll burn down battleships, they'll, like, quickly take out any light ships. especially if you have like at least 4, like I think 4 or 5, they can get things done. But I'm a little bit opposite on how you go about your heavy cruiser. I like faster, more or bigger guns and less armor, so that I can possibly get more ships out.
We should exchange the designs now and then. It could be fun.
We could, yeah.
I see what you mean. And every now and then, like, if you ask me to design a German heavy cruiser, I promise you, an 11-inch gun will go there.
Yeah.
No questions asked. My German heavy cruisers always have 11-inchers. I just like these turrets, man.
They look really good.
That being said and done, let's move on to the next ship.
Let's move on.
Spain.
Oh, it's okay. Well, it's my turn to defend my own ship.
Yeah. So, the stage is yours, my friend. Go ahead.
All right. I think the same with last ship. But let's start with me describing the aesthetics. I don't know. I like the super duper firing turret. This was actually an experiment. I wanted to see if I could get super duper firing, and I got super duper firing, and I was really impressed with myself. So that was really fun. I think the turrets don't look horrible. They're 14-inch guns. You have 14 55 calibers. I like the redundant funnel. I think I made a variant that I did not submit where I had a single large funnel in the middle, which doesn't look horrible either, but I preferred the double funnel. And I have a couple 4-inch guns, which I don't like putting too many secondary guns on my ship, because 1, it'll lag like crazy, and 2, this is more than enough guns. Because, I mean, the 14-inch guns will deal with any, cruisers, realistically, because they reload, at least for me, in 40 seconds, and there's 15 of them. So chances of me hitting something are very high. But I'm back to aesthetics. I don't know, I just kind of like how everything is nice and spaced out equally, as equally as I could get it to. The main tower I brought as close as possible. I don't like gaps in my main towers, but this is a weird main tower. And then, I think that's it for aesthetics. So, cost efficiency. I always like my tonnage to be even, so 60,000 tons. 32 knots of speed, that was the optimal speed, pretty easy. I actually got to have minimum range because I have so much engine efficiency, plus diesel 2, and auxiliary 2, oil 3. I still have 24,000 either kilometers or nautical miles. We'll just call it 24,000 range. Maximum 24,000 range, whatever that means. Maximum bulkheads. Battleships, I'd like to keep maximum bulkheads. Earlier time periods, I'll keep it with less sometimes if I want more guns, but it's just 1940s, you need maximum bulkheads. Spacious quarters. I have found recently, especially I've been playing some later 1930s campaigns, my battleships are surrendering a lot. I don't know if it's a balance mod thing, but a lot of ships surrender. So I went with spacious quarters because I keep finding that surrendering is a really big problem for me, at least. So I guess I always end up getting my ships way too close than they're supposed to. Propulsion.
Yes, I see.
Let's see, what's my turn? A turn to circle, it's okay. It's not great, but for a battleship, it's okay. That's even with a balanced rudder. You go semi-balanced, it's better. Unbalanced, it's even better. But with the balanced, it's not bad. Not great, not horrible. I didn't really care too much about turning because I built this to be a longer range ship. That's why I had the 55 caliber. Protection, I got the Barbette 5, Anti-Torp 4, double hull bottom. All or nothing armor scheme, again, long range. I always like to get Anti-Flood 3, reinforced bulkheads 2. It just, I don't know, it's like the two things I always make as high as possible no matter what. Not to mention this ship is under 700 million despite the cost limit being 800 million. I don't know how I managed to pull that off, but I was very proud of the fact I pulled it off.
It's very impressive. I give you that one straight away.
I mean, campaign, 14-inch guns, even in 1940s, the AI is either going to build a ship with like a 17-inch gun that fires once every year, or they're going to build a ship with like a 13-inch gun that like can't hit anything at range. So 14-inch guns, I feel like they're okay. The AI always, at least as far as I've seen, like under armors their ship. It just goes for speed for some reason. So I find this to be quite effective. What was my next point? Oh yes, long range. So I've got the super heavy, triple base, stereoscopic, Gen 3. I always go base view standard, no particular reason. With this really long range ship, it's a really not a great flash fire chance, I admit. Not a huge fan of it myself, but again, it's at range, so it hopefully should not be taking fire, or if it is taking fire, it's going to be a lot less quick. Let's see. Here's my famous armor scheme that I've been going for this past couple of weeks. The 16 4s and then 12 3s. I also put the 2 inches above conning tower, or 2 inches higher than the main belt in the conning tower, which is something I took from Monroe, or at least this video. I get really good Citadel armor. I always try to either get max Citadel armor, or I'll just like max it out and take away the extra points. Like if it's 6.4, I'll just go down to 6 to save a little bit of weight. But I like Citadel armor. It helps a lot, especially in All or Nothing.
That is true.
And then side armor, or not, sorry, turret armor. Turret armor, normally I'll match the main belt and main deck. I don't know why I didn't with this one. Oh, it doesn't even go that high. Okay, never mind. So just 16/8. 4-inch guns, I'm surprised they went up that high in armor. It's really good armor for 4-inch guns, but they're, I guess 2.5 inches of armor is pretty good.
For a 4-inch gun, so it is great.
Yeah, the 4-inch guns, they're really long barrels, because again, I will be fighting at range, so I always give my secondaries really long barrels whenever I'm going to be fighting at long range, or I'll just keep them as is whenever I'm fighting at closer range. I gave these really long barrels because, I mean, 15-kilometer range for 4-inch guns it's okay. It'll do some work before any destroyers are going to become a danger. And then, hopefully, I guess I decided I needed less secondaries just because that if I really am worried about any destroyers, my 15 14-inch guns will fire hopefully fast enough and enough rounds that something will hit, and it will disable anything that tries to get close. Because even with 0 training, my accuracy of 15 kilometers is 12 to 16%.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, that's not bad.
I think that's everything I have to say about my ship. It was a very simple build, and then this is actually the first build I made. And then I built, like, I think 10 other ships, and I was like, whatever, I'm fine with this one.
Let's go with the first one. Never doubt yourself, man. Never doubt.
No, I just like, it's like a whole 100 and almost 15 million under price, or under budget.
Yeah, that's really fun, isn't it, if you can do that?
Yeah, I know, I was impressed.
I have to say that other challenge that we did, where my ship was so cheap, it was really fun to do that.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like one of the first challenges we did, right?
Yeah. Where it went like 50% under budget or something.
Yeah. Was that the tiny battleship?
Could be. That would be something I would do. Yeah, but that was the battleship, indeed.
Yeah, that's like the first challenge we ever did. It's a callback to Season 1, Episode 1.
Ooh, yeah. Go check them out, people. They're all awesome.
Indeed.
Okay. Then I guess it's my turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright. Well, you started off with the looks of the ship, so I shall do the same. Starting off, looking at the ship from the bow, I see 3 nasty turrets looking right over one another, and it looks awesome, man. It looks awesome.
It does.
Those triple turrets, yeah, you got it. It would not have worked with dual guns, it would not have worked with quadruple ones, but with triples, yeah, nailed it.
I thought the same thing.
Same goes for the looking at the stern of the ship. If I place my camera at the flag, it is a very good-looking ship from the stern. Two nice guns, the towers sticking out, the side-mounted guns there with the rowing boats just inside. Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. Then we come to the side of the ship, and it falls a bit short there. And the bit of the ship that has the main issue for me in terms of looks is the section underneath the funnels. The deck underneath the funnels. That is just... one of the guns is too close to the main tower. I would have moved that gun, say, to where that rowing boat is, right in the middle. Or maybe even replace it with a higher caliber gun, but I'll get to that later. Overall though, even with the two funnels, even though I generally don't like that, it works for this ship. So yeah, in terms of looks, I would give this ship, you know, I'm gonna say it straight away, A. Done. Characteristics of the ship, 60,000 tons, 32 knots. 32 knots is the optimal speed of the ship, 24,000 kilometer, well, range. Good. Maximum bulkheads, I agree, a battleship should always have it, so no arguments from me here. Spacious crew quarters. Personally, I find it a bit of a waste of space. I generally don't go higher than standard, and even that, I only do it on a random occasion if I feel like it. Usually I go for cramped quarters myself. Because, you know, if you're getting burned down, the extra 200 crew members will not make a difference, in my opinion. However, those 200 extra crew members can be put to use on another ship. I'd rather have 2 ships with low crew than 1 with a lot of crew. But that's just me.
Okay.
Propulsion-wise, I think it's a, well, Diesel 2, Auxiliary 2. I find Auxiliary 2 to be on the low side for the 1940s. I generally don't go underneath Auxiliary 3 myself. Rather than going higher on the shafts, I think I would have more or less changed that around. Auxiliary 2, Shaft 2. Auxiliary 3, pardon me. Balanced rudder, I suppose, for a long-range ship, it definitely works. The turning circle, though, the turning circle, it is scary, especially with the Hydro 3. If an enemy gets close, you're fucked, I think. So I'm not quite sure I would have done that myself. Of course, the anti-torp is very good. Anti-flood is very good. Modern armor 2. Can't complain there. Super heavy shells, standard ammo, triple base, TNT, of course, is good. Flash fire chance, 12%. It is on the high side, I feel. I'm curious, have you ever in your tests, did it ever blow up?
This ship, no. I don't think I've had a flash fire in quite a long time, just in general.
Okay.
I think it's because it has okay armor. And barbette armor, unlike a lot of people's ships.
Yeah, we're slightly different in that regard. Definitely. Okay. I think, yeah, 12%, it works, don't get me wrong. If I get a battleship with 12% flash fire chance, I just roll my eyes and go with it. I don't really care. As long as it's underneath the 15, 20%, I'm generally happy with it. So yeah, no complaints there. I do miss the RDF. I think the gun aiming speed, people underestimate it. But it does work without any doubt. The armor? Let's start off main belt, main deck. It's very heavy. The main deck, I personally never go that high. Generally, you don't see me go over 10 overall, but yeah, I can see it work. The rest, yeah, 4 3s, that is good in my opinion. The Citadel armor, well, like you said, you like to go heavy. This is more Citadel armor than I have ever put on any of my ships. So I'm not against it. I do think it could have been put to better use, and I'll get to that later. Turret armor? Yeah, the top armor of your 14-inchers, it can go up to 9, I believe it was. Yeah, 9.8. 8 feels a bit low. But it is enough, generally speaking. The guns themselves, 14-incher, against AI ships, like you said, AI generally does not go for heavy armor, I agree. However, I do feel 14-inch, yeah, it's hit and miss, generally speaking. Either you can get awesome battles with them, or you can get battles where you are absolutely outgunned by the AI all of a sudden, because they do go for bigger guns. They might not go for bigger armor, but it is a bit of a risk, I think, the 14-inchers.
Yes, I do agree with that. I did remember the only reason I chose 14 inches is because it's the last Mark V.
Yes, indeed. It is. Personally, in 1940, pardon me, yeah, I would have gone with the 15 or 16 inchers, I think, dual barrels, but yeah, it's a risk.
Indeed.
Your secondary guns. You got heavy guns. You got your 14-inch guns to deal with enemy battleships, and then you have something that hits enemies at 15 kilometers away. You go from 45 kilometers to 15. You have nothing in between.
Yes, I do see there's a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, personally, and that gets back also to the looks of the ship and to the Citadel armor, I would have taken some of that armor away. I would have taken the 4-inch gun beside the funnels. I would have taken that out, and I would have replaced it with, say, I don't know, 1 or 2 6-inch guns. I think 2. 1 for each funnel. And upgrade those turrets a bit so we can get a bit more variety in ranges.
Okay.
If you get my meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, if I up the turrets, they can go up to 20 kilometers. You know, something like that. I miss the phase in between big guns and very small guns.
Yeah.
That being said, I agree that your turrets would work. A destroyer, well, frankly, with a destroyer, I would not even want to get close to this ship, because 14 inches reload really quickly, even in the normal game. 49.7 seconds. So, and that's with a cadet crew. With a veteran crew, it is, let's see, 34 seconds. So. Yeah. And the 4-inchers, of course, 5.9 second reload time. Yeah, that's scary on a destroyer.
Yeah.
But a destroyer can have, in 1940, oxygen torpedoes. That means they can launch from 22 kilometers. Your secondaries are useless.
Very interesting observation. I do want to check something though. I believe the detectability goes up on a oxygen torpedo. No, it doesn't. It goes down. Oh, I forgot about that little fact. I suppose you are correct in that little aspect. I did forget about that.
So that's if I have to give one major drawback, then it would be that. Besides that, yeah, I think you made a very good ship. Spotting range is good, detectability is good. Turning circle, could be better. Base accuracy is good, long range accuracy is good. Pitch and roll are very nicely balanced. Compliments on that one. Engine efficiency is a bit high for my liking. Overall, good ship. Like it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I think the only thing I would change, if I was to change something, is I would ditch the 4 in the middle and probably put either 6 or 7s there, just to get that range up, so that I would have something. I would probably 6s. I like even numbers better than odd numbers, but like even just the 3 6s in the middle, just so 12 guns, and then increase them to say also 17%. Now we're looking at 21. That's not quite that 22 kilometer range that you were talking about for torpedoes, but
no, but you know, AI ships always get. They don't launch at the exact maximum range of the torpedoes.
True.
They never do that. So that would fix that issue. I agree. So, like I said, I would give the looks an A. And combat efficiency. I place some questions at the 14 inchers. I place some questions at the lacking range of your secondaries. Is that enough to go down to B tier? No. It's a low A.
Okay.
How would you rate it?
I forgot how I rated it last time. I do remember I gave myself an A on aesthetics because I just love that super duper firing guns. I think effectiveness, did I give this an A? I think I gave it an A also. I think I gave it a B in performance though, because it was more of a against a ship that can shoot just as far with bigger guns. It can definitely take this thing out.
Yeah, the 14 inch issue.
I guess it depends.
Okay.
Yeah, vanilla this would be really good, because big guns take forever to reload. Is that everything?
I think we have them all done, yeah. Next up is China, and then we're back to Britain.
Oh yeah, that's all of them.
And we don't have any Chinese ships because everybody hates China.
You know, I've actually made a couple Chinese ships. They don't look horrible if you know what you're doing, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Although the early Chinese hulls, they are just fun.
That is true. China does have some interesting overhauls.
So.
Well, I suppose that's
I guess that
it.
is it.
Yeah. Right. I just realized someone else is here.
Yeah, LostGalaxyGamer, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt.
You should have said something, man. Would have been fine.
Yeah.
We were reviewing the ships we made last week.
Nice.
So, give them all some...
We could go back to his ship so he can defend it. What do you think?
Oh, yes. Of course.
You feel up to it, Lost Galaxy?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Although there's nothing I can do to fight for aesthetics for Mr. Frog here. There's no way. He hates quads, and I love quads, so this is the problem.
Okay, but you can fight for the quads, man. Quads are fine. Nothing wrong with quad guns.
Yeah, quads are fine, but you want to talk about this lip of the turret going way over the barbettes.
It's so the crew can shelter from rain.
Oh yeah, of course. The rain.
You know, when we reviewed the ship, I was saying, if you made the displacement a bit bigger, the quadruple guns would actually work. Why did you go with the smallest hull?
I I was trying to emulate the concept of the pocket battleship that Germany was trying to do a lot of times.
With a battleship.
Shove as much stuff as you can into a battleship hull.
The smallest possible hole. Okay. Because, if you go up to, say, I don't know, 50,000 tons, I think? No, that's a bit... Let's see. There, 52,000. 500? 900, whatever. Then they look really good, actually, I think. Well, apart from the overhanging rain protection that you added, of course.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Also, may I ask another question about the ship?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I'm not sure. You don't have the game open, do you?
I'm looking at the stream.
There is still a stream?
I'm streaming it right now.
Oh, you're streaming it. Oh, awesome. I was like, oh my god, have I still turned it on? Oh, that's not good. Ooh.
No, you're good, you're good.
I was panicking for a second here. The main tower and the rear tower.
Oh, yes.
They are of a complete different design, essentially. If you would go to a, let's see, if you take the second tower, what was it? Modern secondary tower 2?
3.
I believe it was.
Either one works
3
though.
on that hull. It would have looked a lot better. Why didn't you?
I have weird tastes, and the offsetting of the tower looked good to me.
Interesting. I mean,
Okay.
I kind of get it.
Weird taste. Okay, well, it is a defensive argument, I admit. Although, I just checked it. If we add the tower, the 17-inch can't fit on that barbette.
Yes, that is another problem. You could put something there.
Yeah.
I was also working with the weight constraints. I really couldn't add another gun without going down a couple calibers.
Well, yeah. Going down a couple of calibers would have meant, cool-looking 15-inch or nice-looking 16-inch guns.
You know what?
Not necessarily a bad thing.
I respect the amount of guns you shoved onto the ship, though. It is absolutely crazy, especially for the price, because, I mean, the price was based off of just the normal hull. You didn't have to add crew or anything. So, based off of, like, at least this one, where I have extended to 52,900 tons, like, we're still around $535,000 million, not thousand, $1 million, which is a lot under price. So 12 17-inch guns for that price was really impressive.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. In terms of money efficiency, you nailed it.
I think you...
Which is usually not my thing. I usually try to spend as much money as physically possible, as, all of the U.S. military industry companies do.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, he couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better myself. Pardon me. It was just it's awesome how you did it. This thing packs a real punch for its monetary weight. Loved it.
Indeed.
The first design schematic with this small hull was attempting to try to fit 20s on this thing, and that was not possible. If I put only a single turret of 20s.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
20-inch guns, holy moly. Yeah, they are huge. You don't really realize how big a 20-inch gun is until you try and put it on like a, what is this, modern Battleship 2? And you try slapping on a 20-inch gun.
One of my earlier designs of this German ship was not even having a rear gun and having only two forward 20-inch guns.
That's
Would have
definitely
loved to
interesting.
see that. Especially would have loved to see that fighting the American ship we had.
Oh yes. The
Hitman.
Hitman. Oh, have you seen the Hitman yet?
No.
Oh.
That's guess who made it?
Here, I don't know if you've watched the video. Let me.
I
No.
watched your video. Oh yes, okay. I was like zoning out. Yes, I've seen the Hitman. That is a very unique ship.
It is certainly a unique ship. No secondaries. 20.9-inch long caliber guns. Yeah.
And flash fire chance
Oh,
of 42.5%.
Yeah, this is actually, I modified this version. This is only 26.1. This is as good as it gets. You don't get any better than this. So yeah, really bad flash fire chance, not to mention, what was the barbette? Oh yeah, 9 inches or something. Wait, what was it? Why does it say 8-inch gun? Oh, is my game bugging out
Barbette
again?
armor was 9.
Oh, there we go.
9-inch on the barbettes.
9-inch barbette armor. So yeah, yeah, my ship hit this I think like twice, and then it just blew up and had no ammo left. It's very funny to watch.
Mm.
Very
Yeah,
funny to
Stealth had
watch.
the same issue with his ship, didn't he?
Yeah, I think, because on the first round he had the exact same thing where he was like winning, and then his ship got hit once and then flash fired. The second round though, he hit me. I think.
Yeah, it was a shame that recording was a bit garbled.
Yeah, if it hadn't been, that would have been a 2 for 2.
Mm.
That is one thing about the designing of my ships. I attempted every ship possible, making flash fire 0, no matter what.
Mm.
If there's a chance to explode, no.
It's a smart thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm happy if it's below 10%, and I'm like, yeah, that's good enough. But, yeah, 0 is best.
0 is best.
I don't really understand how flash fire works sometimes, but I feel like it's because of fires on board. And if you have 8 million fires, 2% 8 million times is going to explode eventually.
It's essentially it's the barbette armor that causes it, as far as I know.
It's when a ship. Oh shoot! Okay. Every time I click on this ship, it like.
If you hover your mouse over the barbette armor value, then it shows. When it's penetrated, a catastrophic ammo detonation may occur, or a flash fire.
I think it's the same thing for the side and top armor as well. It really depends on where it's hit. Yeah, I mean, flash fire's chance being 0 is nice. Yeah, if your gun gets hit and it's penetrated on either the side, top, or barbettes, there's a chance it'll blow up and go sky high. If you have a flash fire chance. If you don't, then I guess you really don't need barbette armor necessarily. This armor also keeps your guns from being disabled. You especially
well, that's the thing, isn't it? Your gun will be destroyed, but it will not be a catastrophic ammo detonation then.
That's true.
Although I wasn't able to do this ship, but there is one thing I obsess over in every ship design as I try to add a turbo electric engine.
Oh, that would have made it so
well, the
expensive.
gas turbines, they actually work on this ship.
Yeah, a lot of ships that I built when I was trying to design a ship for this competition, I used mostly gas turbines.
Well, there's a side reason why I like turbo electric.
Do share.
Hover over all of those good, wonderful. You actually have to scroll down and then hover over it. So yeah, there you go.
Hover over what exactly?
Is it the 10%?
Ship repairs for engines 75%.
That is pretty good.
Engine gets broke, immediately fixed.
I was that
Plus it adds a.
Well, diesel's a tiny bit better, just a little bit.
Because it adds a bunch of other like bonuses and everything else. Because you technically have electric pumps and like you essentially are electrifying your ship. So
yeah, your turbo.
Not really any other engine does this. So I like obsess trying to get this because it bonuses everything in the ship. It also has the highest top cruising speed as well.
And it's true. Actually, the reason I like turbo electrics, and I sometimes try to fit them on my ship, is just a 10% ship repair to all modules. Just flat out every single module. If it ever gets damaged, just 10% bonus to repair it. Just by choosing this engine. That's pretty good.
Also, I think it is also the lowest engine vibrations out of any other engine as well.
Lowest engine.
Making auxiliary engines pretty worth it.
Yeah, 60, 25. I think that increases it. Those increased engine vibrations. Yeah, I think you're right. Lowest engine vibrations, turbo electrics.
And that is worth a lot.
It is worth a lot.
It's really kind of hard to make a fast ship with turbo electric because you make a big giant electric engine.
It's true. I mean, yeah,
I can see a lot of people being put off by the plus 10% ship flaws, though, because those annoy a lot of people.
It's true, but then again, if you're going with diesels or gear turbines, so you're still getting flaws. Actually, gas turbines has just as many flaws.
I never used them either.
You stick with gear turbines.
I generally stick with the double-geared steam turbines or the diesel ones myself.
That's pretty. I think that's what most people do. I've been experimenting with gas and turbo electrics, though they're pretty interesting. You know, it's a shame to have so many choices.
I have no torpedo protection.
Yeah, we
know it's.
We saw that.
Don't worry.
For half an hour or so.
Yeah, you
I got sonar. I can see the torpedo 8 miles away. It'll be fine.
Yeah, what happens if it's electric, huh? What are you gonna do about it then?
Well, it doesn't electric. You have to be somewhat close to use them.
In your defense,
okay.
at least you have sonars and no torpedoes.
But
we have seen ships that have almost no torpedo protection and no sonars.
That's true, but then again, the sonar doesn't even matter because your turning circle, by the time you turn, you will be hit by every single torpedo coming your way.
Oh yes, 708, almost 800 meters. Wow.
Even just changing to unbalanced would have made it slightly better.
Well, have you seen how I use my ships trying to dodge torpedoes? I just turn off the engine.
Oh.
Well,
is that so?
Like I said, with this gas turbines you have installed, that actually would work. That's a good way of dodging, because the plus 45% acceleration, you can get up to speed again very quickly.
That's true. Yeah, diesels don't really do that. I think geared turbines, you have a little bit better acceleration, but it's the turbo electrics that get you a lot more acceleration. 200%.
Yeah, 200%.
You will be going at speed as soon as you tell your ship to start going at speed again. It just hits that speed immediately. Does anything else do that better? Let's see. So I think 60% is like the best acceleration besides turbo electrics.
Not to mention that the turbo electrics also have a plus 75 deceleration.
Yeah. Does anything else have deceleration? I think that's the only thing that have a deceleration bonus.
I think so, yeah.
I think it's because, like most engines, you can't just on a dime stop, and with electric ones you can.
Yeah, true. It's quite nice. I think the one problem though was the, engine damage chance. No, it's still pretty good, minus engine damage chance. Was it the max speed penalty? There was something that they didn't have. Or am I just not able to see it? No.
You mean the gas turbines?
I thought something else had a good, because this has a minus 10% max speed penalty from engine damage, and I forgot if something else had that.
I think auxiliary engines has that.
Is it?
Minus 10%.
I don't see it though. I see less engine damage chance, but I don't see max speed reduction penalty.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that adds it is auxiliary engines.
Oh, okay, auxiliary engines. I believe, it's auxiliary engines.
Mm.
Yeah, turbo electric with like auxiliary or diesel electric auxiliary system goes crazy. Because you
Oh,
get
yeah.
a
That'd be
lot
fun.
of your engines could get damaged and you would still be going super fast. Because that's minus
And my
55
failed-
and minus 10.
My failed Chinese campaign, I believe I switched my entire navy, or was going to switch my entire navy to turbo electric.
Interesting. Very
Love to see
expensive.
that.
And then the monarchy got assassinated, and then I was handed a budget 1/10 of my size. I'm like, well, I'm dead.
Oh no. I hate
I was
when the
also
government
fighting
changes.
the Russians and the Japanese at the same time.
Ooh. That's a tough one.
Yikes.
Well, with my massive giant navy budget that the monarchy was giving me, I was actually winning, and then like the Republic's like, no, we want to lose.
Ah, classic
I
China.
know that one.
The devs sense that you were going to win as China. They're like, we have to change this immediately.
China slaps hard because in a land where China just wins.
Of course. Actually, you with the Tirpitz, you fought my ship, didn't you?
I fought the Spanish ship.
And that was my ship.
Yeah, I decided to get close. That was a really bad idea. I almost sunk.
Which is funny, because I designed the ship to be a long-range ship, and yet it seems to do better at close ranges.
Because you had more calibers, or it had a lower caliber that had a firing rate.
I think
So the higher percentage chance of getting closer actually helped you a lot.
that's true. I think it was also the problem was I shared it as a cadet crew ship. I forgot that we were supposed to put it to 50. So my accuracy was like really bad until you got close. Like if I put it at least to 50, I probably would have hit from longer ranges, but yeah. Everybody fought my ship on cadets and it actually won most of the time, which is the funny thing.
Hold on. Were you supposed to set it to 50?
Yeah, we were supposed to set it to 50 for the combat and 0 just to check the price. So it was
okay.
supposed to be, yeah, 0 just to check the price of the basic ship, and then we were supposed to set it to 50. I don't think anybody followed that rule, though. I'm glad it was unofficial, because I don't think anybody followed. There's a lot of rules that were broken, but that's fine.
I think the chaos of that week caused everyone to
We'll
Yeah.
do whatever.
We figured
Yep.
out. Some people were coming in with veterans, some people didn't have any crew. It was intense.
Mine was I was actually attempting to mimic the budget. I maybe even misinterpreted something.
Yeah,
So
I
that
think,
is why I had.
yeah, you had
'Cause
the,
I was calculating crew training into my costs. As
yeah,
well.
you did.
Yeah,
I
you
did
did
see
it with
that.
the crew training, didn't you?
He did do it with the crew training. Because he had 82
Yeah, that was
crew.
82 crew training that you had, yeah.
Because I designed that also with in mind where these are like veterans taking over on this ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is why we gave you such a good score, because if you take away the crew training, I mean, your ship is under $500 million. So, you got good cost effectiveness, that's for sure.
It's not another battle barge that I build. Biggest possible ship,
It's the
most
opposite.
damage possible.
You have to build the
In a
biggest
way,
boss. Everybody just builds the
these
super
smaller
battleship.
ships are way more fun to build, man.
That's
You
true.
gotta be creative with smaller hulls. That is way more fun.
Yeah, because if you build like for example,
do you have
the Sea Eagle, remember, Lost Galaxy, you weren't around for the first season, were you?
No, you invited me for the second one.
Yeah, so I think Ulairi, do you remember the first the Sea Eagle? The huge.
I wasn't participating in the first season.
You weren't? Oh shoot! I guess I forgot that.
No, man. But I have seen it. Yeah, I've seen the video.
Oh right, I forgot.
Awesome looking ship.
I forgot half the people from season 1 dropped out. I'm like, wait, who's in it? It's literally
Such
just.
a shame, man.
I know, it was, what was it? It was VTH Gaming and Spartan Elite, they both dropped out. Or well, actually, VTH never dropped out. He just stopped responding after the first week. I don't know why.
He stopped recording Dreadnought videos as well, so I guess he just quit.
I know. I emailed him. I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he just never got back to me. And then
probably personal things pop up, and then it's like, well, everything in my life's like way 1,000% more important than everything online. Ignores everything.
Yeah.
I had a couple friends do that where it's like, oh yeah, I literally had problems.
I had problems, and you guys were not on my important list anymore. Well, it honestly, it makes sense, you know. I mean, let's be honest. If one of us has an issue, then he's not gonna care about Ulairi or LostGalaxyGamer. No, who cares in such a situation? So it makes sense.
Yeah. I suppose there's that.
I mean, let's be honest. This is the first time we're actually talking to one another live, right?
Yeah.
So, I was actually kind of excited for the live stream because I was like, man, we'll actually all like convene and talk to you.
Yeah, it's same here, man. Oh, the original idea for that episode, I was so looking forward to that. I actually cancelled some appointments so I could be there, and I was so frustrated when it was cancelled. Oh, I was seriously pissed off.
I know, I wish we could have done it that way, because I was also really looking forward to it. I was like, I really wonder what they're going to do.
Then again, you know, after that, I just spammed BroSilly here, like, you know, why don't we do it with just the two of us? And here we are.
And it took us, it was like a two hour thing just going over all the ships, and that's just the two of us. Yeah, if it would have been all of us, like, you know, a bunch of people wouldn't even really get to talk if we wanted to keep it under like 2-3 hour conversations.
And I'd have to bail out probably because I have work.
You know, with a lot of people, you gotta set some clear rules about what to do and how long to talk about a subject, etc. But you know, smaller like this, it works, I think. I mean, I enjoyed it at least.
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, I have no idea how I'm going to edit this into a usable video.
I might just do the same thing I did with the other video and just like put the name of the ship and the rank and then just leave it totally unedited. Like, I don't want to go through this whole thing. It's a long video.
Yeah, probably. Because this bit already is 3 hours, so...
Yeah. It's quite a long time.
But, Lost Galaxy, would you be interested in, you know, assuming we can't get a stream like we were planning going, would you be interested in joining such a thing like BroSilly and I were doing now?
Sure.
All right, awesome. Then next time we'll spam you as well.
Thanks everyone so much for watching the video. Oh yeah, go check out my Patreon. I got a cool little exclusive campaign that's going to go on there, and longer versions of this video and other videos are going up on that too, so if you want videos like this but longer, check it out. Really cheap. Also, there's a 7-day free trial, so if you don't like it, then I guess you can just unsubscribe to Patreon. I don't know what it is. I think it's becoming a member. What you can do that supports me that's free though is join my Discord. I have a Discord server. Go join it. Alright, that's it. Goodbye now.